Oh, hello, and here we go. This should be working. Everything should be all right. I should be on air. It says I'm on air anyway, so I'm hoping that I'm wanking about this week. I'm doing stuff that I'm messing about with things this week that I shouldn't be messing with. Let me just move that out a bit. So there's a lot of headspace there going on. So what I've done is this week I'm not doing it through YouTube. I found that the settings on YouTube were a little bit crap. Is probably the word. So what I'm doing is I'm doing it through Google Hangout. And if you want to join me in the Hangout, actually there's a link in the description down below. So if you wanted to, even if you haven't got a microphone, or a camera, I see if I can get the chat up and running because I want to. So yeah, if you haven't got a microphone and you click on the Hangout and you haven't got a camera, or you just don't want to be on camera and you just want to go in the chat, up on the top left hand side, click that, open up the chat box. You can chat that way, or if I try, I can go to my YouTube channel. Let's have a look. This might take the last ounce of strength that's in my computer's graphics card to do this. Where are we at? So if I click on that, is this gonna work? Something's happening. Okay. I'm not sure if the chat is on. Aha! I can see Chris is in the chat. Hello. Yes. So yeah, if you wanted to, you could join in on the Hangout. Hope we've got room in there. I expect this to be a live broadcast from Space Pub. Moonrise. Do you know that is actually coming along better than I thought it would. And it's looking good, and I can't wait to the little videos that I'm going to be making, the data files. They're fun little things, and it's a good thing to do because it gives people a little bit of background into characters and the ships and the universe without even making the film. Just those little things. So I'm having a great deal of fun. And a friend of mine said, "I've never seen you so enthusiastic to work on anything." And he's right. I've been, as a spark has been lit, as it were. And I'm having a great deal of fun doing it. No need for sleep. So yeah, if you wanted to, you could join in with the chat in the Hangout. I posted the link in the description on the YouTube page. I think it should be in there. So yeah, yes, it is. So if you click on that, even if you haven't got a camera or a microphone, you should be able to open up the Google Hangout, come into the Hangout, and even if you just had an icon there, what do they call avatar, you can still use the chat box in the Hangout. I thought I'd try this way because I don't know how you can see it, but I think it's a much better quality by comparison to what YouTube was doing. I find that the camera quality looks better. It's the same camera, than nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna start off tonight because we're gonna be doing Rose. God, that's a good looking box set, isn't it? This is when DVD box sets made the difference. You know, this was when it was like, oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make a box set, but it's not gonna be like a normal box. You're gonna make it so you can open it up so it's bigger on the inside. They thought about it. I mean, it's just I remember when this came out and it was just like, I'm having that straight away, and it was, oh God. How much is this? Was like £55, I think, for this box set. So yeah, it was. Hello, Chris has just joined me in the hangout. Hello. So yeah, up on the top left-hand side, if you want to use the click on the, I think it's like a little blue square, is it? Yeah, blue square, and then it should bring up the chat bar, the group chat on the right-hand side. Yeah, the box set was glorious, and it's a shame they don't do this anymore, because like people are often just do these thin little boxes and try to don't take up much space, or they do it on the Blu-ray. And I mean, everything's a gimmick these days. That's the problem, is that everything's a gimmick. It's how high a res can we get? How big a zoom can we get? How many megapixels can we get? I mean, these were gimmicks as well. Of course they were, but we knew they were gimmicks. You know, this was a gimmick box. This was a special edition box. I mean, it was a great time. When this came out, it was a great time. Everybody was having a great time. And Doctor Who was back. We'd had the fantastic trailers for Doctor Who. Yeah, you can say whatever you like about, oh, it looks much better now than it did. But in 2005, those trailers, there were three, I think, weren't there? Two with Christopher Eccleston, one with Christopher Eccleston and Rose. I mean, and one of them was, and they would show footage from, little bits of footage from, like, for example, they showed the Slovene ship hitting Big Ben, and they showed a Dalek, and everybody went, oh, they haven't changed it! They haven't changed it! Yes! And everybody, and I think that's what put it over. I think for Doctor Who fans, that's what when they saw the Dalek in the trailer, that's when Doctor Who fans went, okay, I'm on board. And the reason is that Christopher Eccleston had been chosen to play the Doctor. Christopher Eccleston really didn't have that big of a name at the time. Well, when he was going to be cast as the Doctor, he had done Our Friends in the North, and what was the show called? The one where he worked with Russell T Davies for the first time. It was Second Coming, was it, something like that? Where he supposedly played the Second Coming of Christ. I can't really remember much about that show, but I've got to be honest. I think when we were talking about the casting of Doctor Who, I think the one which made everybody go, huh, was when they went Billie Piper. Because everybody went, Billie? She's going to be the new companion? And of course, she was. And she was great. And she is great. And if you watch Secret Diary of a Call Girl, she shows off just how good she is. But yeah, I mean, that was a total surprise because nobody expected Billie to be the new companion. That just come way out of left field. I mean, it didn't for her. She'd been, acting and trying stuff out for a while, but it was just for everybody else. It was just like, we don't even know her from her pop career. So yeah, it was a bit. I mean, I've got to be honest. What's the guy's name? Mark. Oh hell, here we go now. Because I think the guy who played Clive, he's probably the most famous person that was in the episode. Out of all of them, I mean, as a working actor, I think he was the most recognisable. Mark Benton. Then, because I mean, oh God, he's probably famous from way back from doing Boom, where he played Charlie. God, that's tasking the memory, that, isn't it? Boom! Apple silver! Good God. That's how far back my memory goes. Jesus. She's like the Spanish Inquisition. I mean, there's Camille as well. yeah, I mean, her famous role obviously was in King Ralph with John Goodman. It's amazing that her career didn't go massive after that. Really, I've got to be honest. She done a few. I mean, she's done a lot. You know, as a working actress, she's done a lot. But to come into it and to play Rose's mum, Nuns on the Run too. Yeah, I mean, she's done a lot. You know, I'm just looking at her career here. I'm gonna have to put this cup of coffee down, otherwise I'm just gonna spill it into my lap. Let's have a look. Yeah. Him and her, 42-1, Doctor Who. She's done a lot since Doctor Who, like a load. Oh, let's have a look. Yeah, Trial and Retribution. Boone. Hey. That's gonna happen every time. I want to get a clock that does that. Just every single time. Yeah, Life Without George, Hawks, The River, King Ralph, yeah, Nuns on the Run, yeah, Touch of Frost. Yeah, she's done so much. And like shows as well, you know, she's not committing to like one project, she's doing shows. So it's like, oh, this is like, you know, Edge of Heaven, where she's doing 6 episodes. Him and Her, 6 episodes, 17 episodes. So yeah, it is. She was quite a. I'm amazed she didn't have a massive career after King Ralph, because it was very popular. Nolan Clark doing well now as well. Good to see that he's working well. It's a shame he was in Star Trek Into Darkness. Didn't like that film taking him down at all. Oh God, Nicholas Briggs in the first episode of Rose as well. I wonder if he goes on to do anything. He does the voice of the Nestene. So yeah, so we're here to do Rose, Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper, first episode. There is a lot with this episode because it's obviously being the revival of Doctor Who. The first thing I'm going to do before I hit play, though, is just give a shout out to the person that really deserves the mention when it comes to bringing back Doctor Who. It's not Russell T Davies at all. It's Julie Gardner. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be sitting here now saying I'm about to hit play, because she was the one that went to the BBC and went, you know, that Doctor Who show you got, do you mind if I have the rights to it? You know, Doctor Who? Yeah, go on, have it. Go on. Nothing's going to come of that. Nothing. And no, she's laughing her nuts off as well. So yeah, I mean, she really deserves the credit for bringing back Doctor Who more than anybody else, I think, because I mean, it was her that got Russell involved. It was her that decided that it was a good idea to probably bring Chris in to have him as the Doctor. Obviously, Russell had worked with him previously on Second Coming, so she was really being very sensible about the casting, about the direction, about everything. So yeah, there's nothing left to do now except I'm going to pick up my remote control now, and then we'll talk about the episode as it goes on. Let's get ready to hit play in 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! There we go. God, I missed that scream. I do miss that scream. I didn't think I was going to, but now it's gone. It's kind of like missing the 20th century drumming at the start of a Star Wars movie. So yeah. Cracking title sequence as well. When this burst onto the screen, I wasn't so keen about the eye shape for the Doctor Who logo. I didn't know what they were doing with that. But yeah. And first opening shot of the trailer. Cracking shot as well. It's one of those sort of crash zooms. Interestingly enough, the first shot in the trailer was the first shot in the episode, and the last shot in the trailer was the last shot in the episode. And of course, Murray Gold's music. It really is. They did strike out lucky with the team that they put together. They really did. It's gone downhill. It's gone downhill a bit. Although I did like the Capaldi theme with the guitar. Do you know, the best reinvention of the theme I think is probably still 11th Hour. It's my favorite. I just love that opening fanfare. I didn't originally when I first heard it. I thought, what the hell have they done now? And it just, I love it. I think all Doctor Who themes should have an opening fanfare. Howell Store. That's no longer open. It's a shame, really. It's been open for, oh God, I want to say about 120 years. The shop is still there, the premises, but the actual store that occupied it is gone. It's a bit of a shame. Now, this shot, we're walking through the underground there, this basement area. I believe that's the basement of Cardiff Clubhouse Cross BBC studios. I know they do cross-cut with the Millennium Stadium. And I'm going to say that again, the Millennium Stadium, because I won't call it the Principality Stadium. Douchey kind of name is that. It's a Millennium Stadium. Good name for a stadium. Good solid name for a stadium. But no, they want to change it to the Principality Stadium. God. See, they've done the same thing with the Dragon Centre. Oh no, we're going to change it to Motorpoint. Motorpoint Arena. Rubbish. I'm having a bit of a rant now, I can't help it. Yeah, this looks a lot like the basement in Culverhouse Cross. Have I got my places mixed up? I might have. I do tend to get my places mixed up, honestly. I've got to check. No, that's right, that's right. I'm terrible for my geography. I can find my way around Hong Kong, no problem at all. I know where everything is in Hong Kong, no problem. Or ask me where somewhere local is. Rubbish. Autons. Good looking Autons as well. I like the way they've done them. I still prefer the look of the original ones than Spearhead. The face wise, the design. It had that sort of creepy smile to them. But good looking makeup. Just check over here. Just in case, I've got to keep going back and forth just in case there's anything going on. Run. Chris made a good Doctor. He did make a good Doctor. I wish that things had gone a little bit better for him. But there's a couple of things. Do you know, there's a couple of things that went on with this. Not just the scenario with Chris, but the fact that Paul McGann said he wanted to reprise the role, but Russell T Davies thought he meant that he was only going to come back for the regeneration, and so he didn't hire him. But Paul McGann wanted to come back for the series. During the mix-up, then they ended up casting Christopher Eccleston, and obviously things didn't exactly go as according to plan. Nice little effect there as well with the Sonic. It's a bit more than just pointing and turning the light on. It had the actual sort of, you can see sort of a wave as it interacted. But in a couple of episodes, this is a good series. It actually is. My favourite one out of the season though is Unquiet Dead. I really do love Unquiet Dead. I mean, I like Empty Child and Dr. Dances. Dalek is great. But there's just something, I don't know, I'm not really a fan of zombie stories because I tend to find that most zombie stories get shortened to It's a Virus. Whereas with Unquiet Dead, the zombie story was a vapor, an alien entity, and they, well, here we go, this is Howell Spear, it's on St. Mary Street. Can't actually walk down there, that's pedestrianised. Not bad effects, but I mean, we say 2005, but this is 2004. So this is July 2004. It went out on 2005, but they were making it in 2004. Little small correction I want to make as well. I think either last week or the week before I said about them using the wrong size TARDIS, and they did, but they went back and corrected it. So the TARDIS that was the wrong size TARDIS was the one used in all the promotions, and it was still used up until I want to say Matt Smith. But yeah, they had 2 TARDISes, and that's all they had right away through. And I think by the end of Matt Smith, they only by the end of David Tennant, they only had 1. All the other ones then that made an appearance somewhere were replicas. And they would mix and match as well. So you'd have an A TARDIS and a B TARDIS, and sometimes you'd have parts from A and B and parts from B and A. So they'd mix and match. I don't know why, maybe it's just an availability issue. But we can do something with that later after this episode's finished. Because we're in the Hangout, so I can actually screen share. I've also had to use this on my DVD as well because I was going to watch it on Netflix, and then I thought, nah, my internet connection ain't that good. Noel Clarke. I'm really happy for what he's done with himself. I genuinely am. I think this is a guy who took full advantage of being in a very popular show and knew exactly what to do with it. He's worked hard, and but I mean, you know, he's directing his own stuff, he's making his own stuff. I'm really, really happy for what he's done. I mean, he could have been one of those people that just sort of falls back on his, his accomplishment in Doctor Who and just done the, the conventions and stuff like that. But he's done a good job. He was pretty good in Our Freedom's Impact. Oh my God. So do you want to talk about Our Freedom's Impact? A couple of weeks ago, my mother was convinced Tim Healy was dead. She was absolutely convinced Tim Healy was dead. And I kept trying to convince her that he wasn't, and in the end, to convince her that Tim Healy was still alive, I actually tweeted Tim Healy and told her my mother thinks you're dead. And then Tim Healy actually tweeted back saying, no, I'm feeling pretty good this morning. And then I showed it to my mother. That's the only way to convince her that he was still alive. But yeah, good guy, Tim Healy. Good seeing this. Yeah, I wouldn't turn that up. I woke up in the morning and gone, Jesus. Like the bit he does with the cards, weird. Now here it goes with the mirror. See, now, is he suggesting there that he's just regenerated, or is he suggesting there that he's just had a haircut and his ears are sticking out because it's a bit too short? The bit I like with the cards, the reason why I like it is that as far as I can remember, the Doctor's never been able to do that with cards. Even in even as back as far as the Fourth Doctor, it's been like this staple that the Doctor just can't shuffle cards. I'd say as a regen, I mean, it could. See, the problem I got with it being a regen is the fact that you've got all the other bits in between where there's pictures of him in that you can see later with him in the Titanic and stuff like that. So I just put it out that maybe he was working a case. You know, he's chasing an alien and he had to go undercover in hairdressers. He just jumped in the chair and just started cutting his hair, and this would be the next one. Ah, bollocks, forgot that. So that's the way I rationed it out. I think he had longer hair, and he just had a haircut. He just went into the hairdresser and just said, "Quick, cut my hair." While they looking. Hello, did you watch the earlier version? Yeah, I'll check. So, earlier version leaked. I did. The earlier version of Rose, you mean the one without the score? No, I didn't. I watched the Graham Norton Interrupts This version. That's the version I watched. This scene here, this scene where he's walking with the arm and Rose, this was an add-on. The episode actually runs short and they needed an extra 2 minutes, and Russell T Davies wrote this little scene, this little interaction between the two of them. They filmed it about a month later, and it's probably one of the best scenes in the episode. Yes, I was too excited to wait. Oh God, I saw the Graham Norton version, the one I'm watching. Yes. By the way, if you want to know, there's a link to the Google Hangout in the description on the YouTube channel. So if you want to jump into the Google Hangout, even if like Chris has got a camera and microphone and he's chatting in the Google chat. So if you want to do that, it's up to you. Or you can keep chatting on YouTube. It's up to you. I'm good either way. Good location choices for this episode. A lot of the locations that they use in this no longer exist. Oh, hello, Chris.
I can use a microphone.
Ah, there we are. Hey, there you go. I'm going to just knock my heating off because it's bloody boiling. I'm sweating my nuts off. Ah, there you go.
Now I can hear myself through my telly.
Have we got? Oh, Ian was just in and popped out. So yeah. Oh, feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of locations that they use in this actually disappear and is now what was like.
How do I mute this video?
Where's it to? Yeah, you can put headphones in. This might be a mute somewhere. That's better. For some reason, I had two of you in the chat. Sorry, no microphone. You don't have to have a microphone. Yeah, if you click on the Google Hangout, your avatar will appear. There's a Google Chat box. If you go to the top left-hand corner, there's a blue box with. You just click on that, and it opens up Google Chat, and you can just type into the chat.
I think I've sussed it now.
Yeah.
Well, I can hear you, and I can't hear me as well.
That's okay. That's good. At least there's no echo, no feedback.
Yeah, now you're completely on the phone, and I've got Doctor Who on full screen in 47 inches now instead of in the corner.
There goes the TARDIS. Yeah, there's Ian, got it. Cool. Yeah, in this episode, there's a couple of things that I probably would have changed, and the big one is probably Clive. Because I think it was a bit of a mistake killing Clive. I think we can have that conversation after the episode as to why, but I think that's one of the mistakes. I think it's a mistake he rectifies later on with Mickey. But yeah.
By the way.
Pardon?
Spoilers, by the way.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, if it's a spoiler now, it's 14 years, man. 14 years. Think about that.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah. Like that's a long time. Like, it's unbelievable.
I watched this with my oldest boy when he was 8. He's 22 now. Brilliant.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Yeah, this is so. The site she actually searches on is a real website. Who is Doctor Who is a real website, and so is Unit. I think their website. I think Torchwood got their own website. I don't know how defunct the Torchwood one is, but I think they did a good job with this episode all round. What's the director's name? Ken Boa, is it? I think he's the director. He's a solid TV director. You know, he does the usual stuff. EastEnders, all that sort of stuff. There he is. I think he's such a good actor and such a good character. So yeah, yes, got it. So yeah, he was the one everybody fell out with. Well, the director, possibly. So yeah. See, this is what I want to talk about this, but we'll talk about it after the episode, right? This is something that I think is one of the mistakes that they made, and I'll leave it at that. We'll talk about it after the episode. Yeah, so he's got the photographs now with and the drawing of the sketch of him as the Doctor. I'm getting a weird sort of pinch when you speak to us.
I haven't said anything for a minute.
Okay. Then it's a tweet coming back from the video or the DVD.
Yeah, I've completely shut my web browser on the computer, so I'm not getting anything from that now.
Right. Yeah, see, this is where I would have said he got the haircut. He was probably buggering around in Dallas. That's where I would have said he would have had the haircut. That's how I would have. That's how my brain canonically retcons it. That's it's just my how my brain thinks. It's like
that makes sense.
It's like the video I did whereby I retconned how Peter Cushing could be the see, his hair's a little bit longer, but I know it's a drawing, but his hair's a bit longer. So yeah, it comes over the years. Yeah, I did a video a while back. It's on. I'm gonna have to upload it, re-upload it, about how I canonically fit Peter Cushing into canon, even though Peter Cushing's Doctor is human. But my brain has worked around it. Yeah, 2D effects and the 3D effects animation that they did. I think they did a really, for what they had at the time. I think I don't think the effects that they did in this episode blew anybody away. But I think it took people by surprise. I think people were like, "This is Doctor Who."
Oh, the TARDIS and the Time Vortex blew me away when it first came on the screen. That was amazing when you consider what we had.
Well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the. I'm not a big fan of the Eccleston David Tennant TARDIS interior, but I'm a big fan of the reasoning behind it. Like, it makes total sense that this TARDIS is slightly knackered because it's been through a time warp, and it hasn't had the opportunity to regenerate. So he's had to refix the console with bits that he's found and stuff like that. Whereas I don't like the first Matt Smith one, because it's a regenerated box and it's made up of crap. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't. My brain can't just like go, that's acceptable. And then of course when he gets the next box, then in the Snowmen, I fell in love with that. Absolutely fell in love with that box, with the interior. Again, I'm not a fan of the outside. Not a fan of the. It's how linear the sizes and everything are on the box. Like if you look at the TARDIS exterior, it's like, the step between the lamp and the top is 3 inches. The step between the top and the first step is 3 inches. The step between the first step and the second step is 3 inches. And all the width of all the buttons are exactly the same. The width between there and the bottom is exactly the same. The width, it's just way too linear. It's like it was designed in Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh, cue the Arnold Rimmer song.
I love that makeup. I think that makeup is a really good job. Because like you're trying to make him look like a Madame Tussauds thing. So we have to see now whereby they're sitting down and they're about to have the champagne scene, right? Look at the grin on the old brilliant. And by the way, the only reason why they filmed here was that it was the only restaurant that was willing to close for a day. It's the only reason. They wanted to go somewhere else, but they said no. And they went to this restaurant and they said, no, we'll close for a day. You want to film Doctor Who, yeah? And they actually filmed from the morning right the way through the night. So because they just shut off all the windows and that, just to make sure that there's no daylight going in there. Weird editing, love it. Just crazy.
He plays it well.
It's so good. Really, really good. Look how the makeup is such a good job as well, though. Because look how flat they've made him. It's not a zombie makeup. It's a wax makeup. He does look like a Madame Tussauds. The effect still kind of works, I think. That effect does, because it's just quick. It's just bang. Good, great little stuff. Yeah, one thing they forgot to put on that. It's only quick. But if you look, the one thing that they forgot was the wiring for the alarm. It's basically a plastic box with a magnet on it, so they just stuck it to the metal beam. But there's no actual wires connected it.
Internal wiring.
Interesting as well. This shot that they're about to do here. Billy Piper's going to run into the box, come back out, run around, then go back in. And in the script, it was scripted that she actually just goes in, the camera goes in with her. And the people that are working on this, they only managed to nail the effect in 2012. It took them they've been working on the effect for 7 years. And the only time, the first time that shot actually got used was in The Snowman. So Russell T Davies came up with this idea for this shot, and then they only managed to put it off 7 years later. What was interesting is that the first show that actually did pull off the effect was a Doctor Who fan film called Devious. It's the first one that actually no champagne though. Yeah, yeah. The cork hit him, but no champagne came out. Good reveal.
I don't mind that TARDIS. It's better than the latest one.
Oh, good God! My front room is better than the latest one. God, I hate it. I hate the new one. It's just nothing. There's no design there at all.
It looks like it's made out of rock.
If you look back at the video, I stick by what I said in the video that I made about it when I first saw it. It looks like Christopher Reeve's Fortress of Solitude crashed into a bloody wheel hub shop.
You're not wrong.
It's awful. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. They've got these similar to this, whereby they've got these steps up to the console. But then on the first step, they got these damn grill that goes all the way around. And on the second one, then, they got those damn crystal pillars you can't stand around the console. Like with this, at least the pillars are spread out and they're out of the way. And the other thing, the reason why I don't like it, one of the big reasons that I don't like it, and the realization, is that it reminds me a lot of the bowl one that they used in what was it called? Monsters of Time, the John Pertwee one, where they use all basins in the roundels. Well, I tell you what I think works well with this year as well. They just done the whole travelling bit, whereby they just travelled from the power estate to middle of London. And normally in Doctor Who, the TARDIS normally lands. If you look, even the classic, the TARDIS normally lands. It's very rare you go on an episode where the TARDIS would up and move. The Time Monster. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's what the new one reminds me of. Is the all those bowls. It's awful. It didn't work then. Why do you think it's going to work now? Oh, where are we going? Yeah. What happened there? I'm still on, I hope.
Yeah, I can still see you and hear you.
Good. I just had a little thing. The whole screen just shifted down. It's probably my mouse. A little bit of delight there with the anti-plastic. I love that. He does such a good job. There's a little bit of glee in his face, anti-plastic. He tickles it. It's good. Brilliant. And I love this as well. It's the whole thing. He's so brilliant. The obvious escapes him. Good. It's just brilliant stuff. I don't know if they went with that Halo thing because he had just come off playing the second coming. It must be weird. Those people on the bus are like, is that Billy Piper running across the bridge? Because at the time, they wouldn't have known. They wouldn't have had a clue.
Might not necessarily know who Chris Eccleston was either.
That's what I mean. She was more famous. At the time when this came out, she was more famous. People in Italy knew who she was. People all over Europe knew who she was. You know, why have we got to keep playing our music so loud? Because we want to. Because we want to.
I wasn't going to go there.
I actually had it on the radio at work the other day. I couldn't believe it. The worst part was I knew the words. No, you get a good mashup, you know. This is Mike Tucker's work with filming in Newport. This is the magic of movie making right here now. We get some really good stuff. You know, six scale miniatures with this is the inside of a factory. That's partly a miniature as well. That's a miniature and CGI, obviously. I'm curious as to why they went with CGI for the Nestene though, because I would have just I would have just gone with silicone. I know they wanted movement there, but it just was just backlit and everything. I don't. Maybe I would have added a little bit of CG additive to it. I mean, it's they probably went with what was easier.
I can think of a frog that's worse.
They used the same model shots and explosions in multiple episodes. I mean, yeah, they get standard stock shots and stuff, stock so that you can build up.
I think the other thing is, around when this was made, 2004, 2005, everyone was using CG. It was the thing to do.
Oh, yeah, I mean, look, it amazes me that there was a lot of... I mean, that there's part model there as well. They see in part, you know, so digital matte. Like, that's obviously blue screen. It's a good mashup. There's not any one technique, and that comes on to Mike Tucker. That is Mike Tucker.
That as well is how spot on they've got the lighting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, it's people who've done more. Like, I mean, Mike Tucker trained under Steve Begg. Steve Begg trained under Jerry Anderson. So, you know, Steve Begg's first job was working on Terrorhawks, and he had no experience whatsoever. He had to learn, and he became the head of visual for Terrorhawks. And then he had to hit the ground running. He had to learn. He had no experience whatsoever. He was just a model builder. And Mike Tucker then learned from Steve Begg, and Steve Begg had just taught him everything that he knew, everything that he had picked up. And then he worked on things like Doctor Who and Red Dwarf, and I mean, think about that. The people who make Red Dwarf made this. I mean, the people who made, you know, Emo Hawk and that, you know, it shows what they could do with the budget and shows what they could do with. They could have covered up that fire pipe there. They could have done that. That's the only thing I would have. Because you can see there's the gas pipe on the floor. Jack, you over to the police station. It's a library. It's literally, that's literally the reverse shot. She's about to walk into the Queen's Arcade, and that's actually in exactly the same area where Kylie Minogue, David Tennant, and Bernard Cribbins were in Voyage of the Damned. They were literally, those three were literally about 30 foot to the left. So again, magic of filmmaking. You got Queen's Arcade one way, you got the library that way, and then you got Burger King and the castle down that way. And that's literally where they were. This is the entertainer. This is just in through those doors. The entertainer's not there anymore. I did know. they done this thing whereby they actually repainted the pillars outside the windows because they were originally red, and you can see the red was there. It's literally the left-hand side of the shop. I can see why. They repainted them to make it look like a different shop. Bye-bye, Clive. That's something I'd never considered before. Why would you repaint the frames of a shop? Frames of a shop window. It makes sense. You can only hire one shop and you want to make it look like two shops. So you paint the frames on one side. So you shoot it that way and shoot it that way. And it looks like two shops.
I'm just glad they kept the hand weapons for the Autons.
Oh, hey, look, again, nothing made me happier than seeing the Dalek in the trailer. When they showed the trailer for the first time, and they showed the Dalek, and it was just like, oh, they've done nothing. They've just polished it. I mean, that was absolutely fabulous when I saw that. And so that gave me confidence. And when I saw this, it really gave me confidence about the series. Because it was a case of we're not redoing it. We're not trying to change it. We're not doing a Star Trek Discovery to it. Man, I don't like to use that, but I mean that's the way it is. They actually staying faithful to what went from the 1960s onwards.
I still haven't gone to Star Trek Discovery. I did the first series, and I've done one episode of the second. I've given up.
I stopped watching it. Stopped it. I couldn't. I stopped watching it because it's not a bad Star Trek show. It's just a bad show. It's just bad. Now, I'm a bit confused as to that bit there where he's struggling with the Auton, and she actually goes on and attacks. She picks up the axe, and then she swings in. Like, wouldn't it be better to hit the Auton with the axe? I could be wrong, because he's struggling to hold on, and she's about to just kick him. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but no, I'm pretty sure he could have done that earlier. I don't. It's one of those staging issues whereby they try to stage action and they procrastinate.
Well, I suppose she was on an upper level, so it'd be more difficult to whack it without climbing down ladders.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she only gave him a nudge with her feet, and he went straight over the top. It was just one of those things. It's one of those, you have to do it on stage all the time when you've got two people restraining somebody, because you can't have somebody fighting on stage, because otherwise they'd be kicking lumps out of each other. I actually did that once before. We did a show Carousel, and I played the Russian guard, and Davron played the lead actor, and I was supposed to come in with a truncheon and beat him down. And it was the scene before he dies, and I went in and I went hell for hell, and I beat the 7 shades of shit out of him. Boy, his screams were heard in the last row, and everybody was like, "Oh, that was convincing." I'm surprised it broke 2 of his ribs. Next night, they didn't give me a truncheon. They told me just to watch. It's true. It's absolutely true. I like that foot. The head's backwards and his foot's still twitching. I love it. Good stuff.
That's known as the Ed 209 maneuver.
If you look at that scene there now behind Jackie, that but there, if you look straight behind, you'll see that is exactly where Kylie Minogue and that were for, where David Tennant and that were for Voyage of the Damned. And this area here where Rose is, they're going to do this shot here, which is the last shot of the trailer. That place no longer exists. That's now St. David's 2, I believe, because every shopping centre deserves a sequel. I've never seen a shopping centre with a sequel before, have you?
Shopping centre Part 2.
That's you see. Honestly, the shopping centre is called St. David's 2. The Revenge. It's amazing. But yeah, if you look behind her, you can actually see Cineworld, which is opposite. Oh, again, it's opposite what would have been the Dragon Centre, which is now Motorpoint Arena. God, I get annoyed. They keep pulling on Cardiff all the time and keep pouncing it around. You can never find your way around in Cardiff because every time you go there, it's different. They keep changing all the time. I can never.
They're doing it all over. Well, they're doing it all over the place.
Well, in Cardiff now, they're on about opening up the Doctor Who experience again. But they're on about opening it up now in Cardiff Castle. And the thinking is that the original one was in the bay and it was out of the way. And they're not wrong. The original was in the bay and nobody could ever find the bay. I could never get to it. I could always see it. I would drive down and hit a roundabout and go around the roundabout and the bay would be on my left. Like, drive down and hit another roundabout and go around there, and the bay would be on my left. And then it would all be on my left, and I could never find it. I could never get to it. I'd follow all the signs that would say the bay is this way, and you'd end up in the same place. And you'd be like, gee, once you got to the bay, and you couldn't get out of it.
Another thing I liked about this, they used the full-length TARDIS dematerialisation sound.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, but all that now is now a shopping centre. No, obviously, again, this is the first time you really saw through the TARDIS doors into the interior. I'm still not a massive fan of that. I get what they're doing. They're trying to convey the bigger on the inside stuff. Yeah, there we go. That's Rose. Good episode. I know they're doing the next time where they're showing End of the World, so let's just stop that there. Yeah, good episode. They should use the same model shots as well. Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, I already read that. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, good episode. There's so let's talk about Clive, right? I wanted to talk about Clive because I think he was a wasted character. And I think that, Russell T Davies did actually try to fix it with Mickey, because I think Clive was a great character. I think the Doctor Who needed a character like Clive, who was this conspiracy theorist that worked out of his shed. And I think there would have been I think if he had lived, I think there would have been, forget Torchwood, I think there would have been Clive. This guy that just goes around investigating, sort of almost like an X-Files kind of thing, but he works out of his shed. So I think it was a bit of a mistake. He was on the computer, he was on the tech and things like that. I would have liked to have seen him go on. He wouldn't have been necessarily a character that would have. He would have been kind of like the Brigadier, I suppose, but he would have been much more of a. He would have shown up every now and again, as opposed to being a companion. But again, the Russell T Davies kind of filled Mickey into that role afterwards by being, as he says, he's the man in the van. I mean, I would have done a whole show. I would have done a whole show with Clive, because you can even imagine it. He's going around handing out little cards that say, have you seen anything, supernatural or unexplained, and give me a call. And you could have the entire series whereby he's just going around helping. And I would have done the entire show like that, whereby the Doctor pops in from time to time, and he ends up in bumping into the Doctor on occasion. But he would have been the Mickey role. Did you ever read Who Killed Kennedy? No, I didn't. But is it a Doctor Who President Kennedy? Is that the Ninth Doctor story? I'm just curious. Have you read that, Chris?
No, I haven't.
No, I'm guessing that's what it would be. Is the Who Killed Kennedy? So yeah, because we got it was only a 45-minute episode. We're probably gonna end up doing. I'm gonna have a look, see if I can get the David Tennant episode. I know that I can get it. I'm just concerned that my internet's just going to melt. My hub will just. So yeah. I know it. I know it's on. So yeah. Where is it? So yeah. Apparently, so yeah. BBC Three program. What was it? Strictly Come Dancing or something, wasn't it? Graham Norton was hosting, interrupted the show. But yeah, with the character of Clive, I think I would have had him just going around and helping the general public in sort of these lower jobs, because you couldn't have Clive ever sort of fight an alien like the Doctor. He's not that sort of character. He would have been a much more of a. If he ever did encounter an alien, it would have been in the last episode. You know, kind of thing. Because he's not a violent person. But I think he was a very interesting character. I like the conspiracy character that works out of his garden shed. That's because that's how the Doctor should be, really. That's kind of who the Doctor is, anyway. You know, I don't.
He could have worked well with Sarah Jane as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Clive would have worked brilliantly with Sarah Jane, with the Sarah Jane Adventures. I mean, look, the potential they ended up unlocking. I don't think they knew what they had when they had it. So I go. No, it's a journalist investigating unit. From the outsider's point of view, you think it's all a massive conspiracy. Ties in with the 70s unit stories. Oh, hey, that sounds pretty good, actually. I do like. I think that's that's one of the things I liked about Love and Monsters was to see it from the outside perspective. I don't like Love and Monsters as a rule, but the actual idea of seeing how it looks from another person's perspective is also my there's an episode of The Incredible Hulk that does it, and that's one of my favorites as well, from the old 70s Bill Bixby show, where basically that episode was because Bill Bixby was actually in court getting divorced at the time. So they done an episode whereby he was shot from somebody else, from an outsider's perspective, how the Hulk appears to the rest of the public. And it's a brilliant way to approach any story like this. I think it's
the lower decks on Star Trek Next Generation was like that.
Pardon?
The lower decks on Star Trek Next Generation.
You literally broke up the key. Are you Star Trek The Next Generation?
The lower decks.
Oh yeah. Of course. Yeah, brilliant. One of my favorite episodes. Well, I do like those sorts of outside perspective episodes, whereby it's the outsiders looking in, because to us, the audience, we're along for the ride. We go along with the main character. We're in on the joke. If you look at it from a real world perspective, look at it from how a civilian would look at it, a normal, ordinary person would look at it. And it's what works with Blink. I think it works tremendously well with Blink. My problem with Blink is that technically it's not a Doctor Who story. He is in it and he is part of it, but it's mainly about what's her name? Oh, good grief! How can I forget her name? Oh, Carrie Mulligan's character. What the hell's her name? Sally Sparrow. God, make it work. Yeah, Sally. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, Sally Sparrow. It's what works. It's mainly her story, but she's looking at it from the outside perspective, and it makes the universe interesting, because to all the audience, it's the Superman argument, right? It's like people always say, how come people don't recognize Clark Kent as Superman? And my argument is always, well, how many people know Clark Kent, and how many people have seen Superman? Like, there might be photos of Superman, but are there photos of Clark Kent? It's one of those arguments. Like the people working closest to Clark Kent, they probably have never met Superman. Jimmy Olsen has and Lois Lane has. But Lois Lane was probably falling out the window at the time, and Jimmy Olsen was probably seen him from a distance.
And he'd give him a kiss and they'd forget anyway.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, no, but that's the point, though. Most people would see Superman and they'd see him like up in the sky. You know, it's this red and blue thing that goes across the sky, or they see him taking off, or they see that, but they've never met Clark Kent, so how the hell do they know what Clark Kent looks like, right? But us being on the inside, going along with the joke, we know who Clark Kent is. We know who Superman is. I mean, it was one of the things I liked when they've kind of retconned it now, whereby Lois knows very early on. But again, when I was talking to my friend about it, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, Lois now knows pretty early on." I said, "Lois and Superman the movie knew early on. You know, she's not a dumb person. She actually works it out. By the end of Superman the movie, she's like, you know, wait a minute, Clark's not here. Superman's." And by Superman 2, if you watch the Donna cut of Superman 2, she's actually gone, you know, there's a picture of Superman. I've just doodled him as Clark Kent. You know, and she actually shows you the Clark. And he's like, "Oh, that's very funny." Like, you know, she's worked it out. It doesn't take very long at all. It's just people's notion that it takes forever for her to work it out. It's like, no, it doesn't take her long at all. The longest it takes is Noel Neal, because Noel Neal never works it out. But anyway, enough of that. Let's talk more about Doctor Who. So yeah, Christopher Eccleston. He got given the crap end of the stick. Let's be honest. Just in your link to Candy ebook, real one, very rare. No, wait, where did you put it? In the chat? Oh, email. So yeah, yeah, I've just had it. So yeah, there it is. I shall give that a look. Yeah, Christopher Eccleston got given the shaft at the end of the stick, and I'll tell you why. This episode went out in, what was it, March, was it 8th, I think it went out? I'm not sure. 2005? After it went out, he was asked to go on, like, BBC Breakfast, and then he was forced into promotion for Doctor Who, and he didn't want to do it. So they said, no, he's got to go on BBC Breakfast. And when he went on BBC Breakfast, he had the interview and everything, and he was like talking about it great. And then the next day, he was in the newspapers that he'd quit. And what made it worse was that they actually, at the end of it, by the end of the week, that was the Monday, and the Tuesday was when he quit. They recorded Jonathan Ross on the Thursday. So it had been literally, you know, within 4 days. And when he went on the Jonathan Ross show, at the time, Jonathan Ross was kind of at the height of his power on BBC One as well. You know, he could do it all. Like, you know, he could get whoever he wanted on his shows and everything. And he had him on the show. He was talking to him about it. And I don't know whether or not Christopher Eccleston did the right thing by keeping calm, because he was being questioned about, you know, about Doctor Who, and he was saying how great the show was and all that. And I remember Jonathan Ross turning around and saying, "Well, why the fuck did he walk away?" And he didn't say anything. He was just like, "Well, you know, decisions and things like that. That's pretty much." And he just should have said. He just should have said why he walked away. He should have said, "Look, you know, problems with the producers," because the stink that actually. That was around him, and I've seen Christopher Eccleston do conventions and stuff like that. He's not a knob, you know. He's a really good guy with the fans. He's done videos for kids. He's played the Ninth Doctor again for kids in you know, in videos, you know, whereby, you know, he's talked to Doctor Who fans. You know, and he's you know, kids in hospital and stuff like that, you know. But he's really good about it. I think Christopher Eccleston's problem is the fact that a lot of people see him as being standoffish, and that's because of everything that the BBC did to him, because he was blacklisted for 10 years. Like, why? You know, he had a big disagreement with Russell T Davies. So what? You know, I mean, this guy will never ever do another Doctor Who. And he'll never do another Doctor Who simply because the BBC treated him like crap. I mean, people are like, oh no, the BBC couldn't have done it. People are waking up to the BBC now, because of everything that they're doing. Everything. I mean, this is we're talking about a company, you know, that's got a hiring policy that if you're a white man that happens to be straight, you can forget being hired by the BBC, because that's not their hiring policy anymore. So, I mean, to actually attempt to ruin the guy's career because he walked away from a show after the first season, that's just dirty, absolutely dirty. I don't know. What do you think, Chris? I mean, what do you think about what happened with Eccleston after following his run as the ninth?
Well, like you said, he definitely made a mistake by keeping Stum on the Jonathan Ross show. I was just looking on Wikipedia at the Big Finish stuff, and there's 4 stories for the Ninth Doctor, but none of them say starring Christopher Eccleston. It says performed by Nicholas Briggs.
Yeah. There's a guy out there. I tell you what, I'm amazed at. They've just done a 3 Doctors story, and they've got John Culshaw as the Brigadier. Oh my God! Like, I swear to you, have a listen to the trailer. I will guarantee you will not be able to tell it's not Nicholas Courtney. Unbelievable. What's weird is the fact that actually the guy they've got playing the Third Doctor, he actually isn't as good as John Culshaw doing the Third Doctor. Which is, I mean, I can understand why they've got him, because he's done all the other Third Doctor stories, you know? So they're keeping the voice consistent. But if you listen to John Culshaw doing the Third Doctor, he is spot on, Pertwee. There's I don't know, have you seen the video with, I'm trying to think of the kid's name. He's only like, he's 22, 23, I think. Oh, he's probably older than that now, obviously, because he was about 22, 23 at the time. He does a Matt Smith and David Tennant impression, and he actually ended up on what was it called, Dead Ringers with John Culshaw, and they actually recreated the scene between what was it, Matt Smith and I was just going to mention the young bloke. Yeah, he does this. What the hell is it called? The Curator. It's on YouTube. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it, no.
So you know the Great Curator scene from the 50th.
Yep.
Right. So John Culshaw plays the John Pertwee, and they do the whole Great Curator scene with. So it's, how can I put it? It's Matt Smith and Tom Baker, right? Culshaw's Tom Baker, as you'd expect, and this kid is Matt Smith, and it's a great back and forth, right? But then the camera pans to one side, and it's David Tennant and John Pertwee, and Culshaw's John Pertwee, and this kid's playing David Tennant, and the back and forth there is hilarious, because he's just like, who in the blazes is Stephen Moffat? It's really, I'll see if I can find it. I'll put it in the. It shouldn't be too difficult to find. It should be in the. So yeah, the Great Curator. Great Curator. Yeah, there it is. This one, yeah. Let me just copy this. I'll put the link into the chat. You can see it. Oh, isn't this fun? We can do stuff like this now. We couldn't do that before. Technology, I love it. How does the picture look now? Anyway, because from my perspective, the picture I get to see is much better than the one I was having on YouTube. I don't know what it's like from your end.
Well, I'm watching you on a 5.5-inch phone screen, and
okay,
it looks fine.
No, it's just that I've had to go back into doing the other videos to just alter things in the description and whatnot. When I've seen those videos back, the quality hasn't looked amazing. Whereas doing it through the Google Hangout, it actually looks a lot sharper. In fact, I'm getting a bigger picture. But it's like there's a lot of cropping going on with the YouTube settings. But yeah, if you click on that link there that I just posted in the chat, you should see the great curator from, it's 4 minutes and 21. It's just we'll give it a click now and just check it on. So I don't know if you've got it there, Chris.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, let me just yeah, that's okay. All these settings. Oh, that was me.
That was you, yeah, because I appear to have loaded YouTube. Right, hang on.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay. We've been on YouTube. We've been on one of the open windows.
There'll be two of me again now.
Okay.
Oh. Tell you what, I'll scrap that idea.
Oh my God!
Had her own time vortex.
Time trap!
Mental.
Oh, we've just slipped into Castro Valva.
I'll tell you what, I'll search for it on YouTube.
If you just, I literally clicked on the link in the chat on the side. You should literally just, if you click on that, let me just check. Where's that? Yeah. See underwear Ian wrote, I was just going to mention the young bloke.
Well, I haven't got a chat thing up on my phone. How do I get that up to look at the chat?
It's just a little blue box on the left-hand side.
Not on the phone, it's not.
Yeah, when you go on the left-hand side of the screen, when you touch it, you should a menu bar should pop out, and a little blue box should be at the top of the chat. The bar normally hides itself. It's a bit of a pain. You're
telling me.
Yes, it works. Oh dear, that was good. Yeah, if you go on YouTube and just type the Great Curator, it'll probably be like the second one from the top. It's literally, you can't miss it. It's a picture of John Culshaw. John Culshaw and Jake Dudman.
Yeah, I've got it now.
Yeah. So let's chuck that on very quickly, and then we'll move on to doing what we said we were going to do, which is the David Tennant regeneration mini episode. We'll talk about that. So yeah, blue box, maybe perception filter is on. I watched Dead Ringers in the London Eye yesterday. Oh, cool. So let's click play and just watch this. 3, 2, 1, play. So they've gone. I wish they would go to a little bit further with how they. This is the BBC or BBC production, and they can't get a good looking TARDIS.
You know, I really think you might.
Jesus Christ. Culshaw, like, bloody hell.
I know you. In years to come, you might find yourself revisiting a few.
I mean, really.
That's amazing.
I'm curious about this painting.
We couldn't do it Pertwee though, because Pertwee's coming a bit further along now. But both of them are good.
You see, that's what everybody's wanting. It's all one time. Right.
I'm getting a bit of feedback. He's terrifyingly good, isn't he?
What? It's still out?
I'm only a humble curator. I'm sure I wouldn't know.
Then where is it?
Where is it indeed? Lost. Shh. Things do get lost, you know. And now you must excuse me.
I mean,
If you couldn't see it, you wouldn't know.
no. Well, I mean, this is one that he does. He does a video where he's actually talking to Tom Baker as Tom Baker. It's a conversation of Tom Baker with Tom Baker. It's crazy. I watched Day of the Doctor with my 9-year-old niece this morning. Really loved it. Yeah, because it's great.
No.
Good grief, will this one do at all? Yeah, it seems our respective successors have been trapped in a temporal paradox, in a situation of irreversible polarity.
I mean,
Look, I think we better clarify. Contact. Contact. Who the blazes is Stephen Moffat? He see. Now he
God,
are both traveling towards regeneration, but the transference could be highly unstable. Exactly. And the wrong answer goes on.
the new YouTube video about the Doctor mentioned out last week. I seen something on a link. I went to click on it and I didn't. I did click on. Oh, what was it? I ended up watching a Colin Baker video.
But don't worry, I'll get us there the way it was done in my day. Oh yeah? And how are we going to do that? Are we going to use a matter transmitter along precisely the right polarized axis at your time? Oh, we're going to walk through a column of steam coming out of a jug catcher. Brilliant. Halsey, you're sure this will transform into world change, my friend? My dear chap, what do you take me for? Of course I'm sure.
Ah, there's a certain poetry in Maldaccian copy.
It makes you feel like everything's good.
Yeah. Everything's quite all.
I mean, you've got to be a fan to be able to do that, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
I mean, seriously, the precision to get Pertwee's voice down like that. Like, it's Tom Baker. He's always done a good Tom Baker. It's been ridiculously good. It's the first time I ever heard him really do a Pertwee, though, and really sort of like, because I've heard him say the odd thing as Pertwee, but to talk full it's easy to sort of get one noise right, but he's talking full sentences and it's just knocks me over. So yeah. About the documentation, 6 minutes long, basically a cock up with financing. Well, the Doctor mentioned. I did see something. I ended up watching it. I tell you what, I was watching. I went through. I can't remember. I was going to click on it, but then I saw a video of Colin Baker at a Phoenix convention, and I went to click on that, but there was a video underneath it, which was out about 2 weeks ago, I think, of Colin Baker in conversation in I want to say Pensacola, and I ended up watching that as well. It was a good conversation as well. He was ended up talking about how he got into acting and how he ended up becoming the Doctor and how he went from being like the most hated man on TV to being the Doctor. Everything. It was a really good. It was not bad. You got to find out stuff about what he did with Doctor Who, with how he interacts with the other Doctors and stuff like that. That you talk of this. Open link in new tab, please. Because I need my internet to... Just press pause on that for a second.
People are asking, what will the BBC do for this year's 30th anniversary? Today, on Doctor Who, we'll explore...
So, yeah, that's interesting as well. So they made a big deal about when the Ninth Doctor came back, how the titles didn't have the face of the titles. And they made a big deal about it. I just remember it was like, well, William Hartnell didn't have the face in the titles either. So why is that a big thing? I mean, it's just, it became a thing, I suppose. Alan Yentop, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, Alan Yentop took over. It was between him and Joe Wright. That's how one ended up with the TV movie that we got with Paul McGann. You know, Alan Yentop wasn't really that interested in Doctor Who so much as you know, he was interested in getting something going, but yeah, the BBC were kind of, they would have always been embarrassed by Doctor Who, and I think they still are. I think there's this stigma still around in the BBC. And so the Doctor Who is still a laughing stock. Yeah. 2003, 2004, 2005. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm telling you now, the reason why we got Doctor Who now is because of Julie Gardner. It's only because of her. Because Russell T Davies didn't have an idea that he was ever going to write Doctor Who. She got hold of the rights and went to him. You know, in 2004, she acquired the rights for Doctor Who and took it to BBC Wales. When BBC Wales made Doctor Who, they made it because nobody else wanted to touch it. BBC Manchester didn't want to do it. No, nobody from the head of BBC wanted to do it. Certainly, Television Centre didn't want to do it. And that's why he went to BBC Wales. And because it put so much business into BBC Wales. Seen the second come in. I saw the second come in when it first came out. When it wasn't very long. It was like 2 episodes or something like that. It wasn't huge. Yeah. God, £200,000. I mean, this is what I don't like. When I sometimes watch videos whereby, you know, sometimes you get Americans talking about Doctor Who, about talking about the classic shows. They got no clue about how TV shows get made in the UK. They got absolutely no, and it's not a fault on them. They just don't know because they brought up on the Hollywood system and the network system. There's no understanding of. I mean, you've got to look at it like this, right? They made. I'm trying to think of the series. It wasn't Upstairs Downstairs. It was a series like Upstairs Downstairs. And what they spent on one episode of that show paid for the entire 26th season of Doctor Who. Same budget. No, okay, one was 6 episodes long, and the other one was like 13 episodes long. But still, I mean, it's disproportionate. That's how highly regarded it was with the BBC. That's what the budget was that they spent on it. Yeah.
BBC Entertainment just assumed they agreed.
Well, again, I got a feeling that's why they didn't tell the BBC when Amblin pulled out of the Doctor Who movie, was because they just didn't want nonsense. What's crazy is that Doctor Who has never lost money. Not ever. I think about that. What sort of a company doesn't invest in a show that they know for a fact since day one has never lost money? Mm-hmm.
The team soon realised £20,000 would probably be spent on unexpected very quickly. Therefore, they decided to.
Yeah.
Not to mention like the fact they got so interesting. What came out of that 30 makes it even more interesting. Would you like to see the BBC animated version officially?
Would I see an animated version of that? I think it would be too much to have somebody recast. Like, you know, is there a problem? Like, they've recast William Hartnell with 2 actors now. And David Bradley done a great job. So I'm not sure why you've got to animate stuff all the time. Provided that you've got the right actors to play the parts, I think it's highly acceptable to have other people play the fourth, or, you know, I don't think it's not a great story, to be honest. No story starts out great. It all takes refining. Again, you know, we just watched Rose. Rose had to be refined, and that story changed multiple times. You know, sometimes it changed because they couldn't have the location. Sometimes it changed because one of the shots changed because Christopher Eccleston couldn't get his head through a cat flap. That's absolutely true. One of the locations changed because they couldn't get the restaurant that they wanted. These sorts of things change, and again, when the episode came up, it came up short, and they had to write the 2-minute scene, which was the scene whereby the Doctor explains to Rose who he is. You know, he does that whole, you know, and I can feel the earth turning beneath our feet, and that's who I am. And then he lets go and walks off to the TARDIS. I mean, that's a great scene, but that was an afterthought. You know, that's part of the refinement of the story and the script. So the fact that this isn't a great story, that they could have refined it and made it something better, it's something that they do it all the time. That's how you work on a show. You keep polishing it and polishing it and polishing it, and then you either chuck it in the bin or you put it on display. That happens most of the time. I mean, there are episodes like that have happened with other shows, though. I mean, a lot of episodes from Star Trek Phase 2 wound up in The Next Generation during the writer's strike. So these sorts of things. What do you think, Chris? Would you want to see, like, how would you do the Dark Dimension? Would you just recast with actors, or would you rather it done animated?
Well, I don't see a problem with recasting. I mean, like you said about David Bradley, one of the Doctor Who forums were like, "Oh, it's not my first Doctor," and crap like that. I'm like, what? He's playing a part. So I've got no problem with recasting. But if they want to animate it, as long as they got someone that can do the voice, that's equally as good to me. I don't mind. It's nice to see the story.
Yeah. And we've got Star Siege player in the YouTube chat. Hello. If you wanted to, you could jump in just to let everybody know that from now on I will be doing it through Google Hangout. So I will be, when the videos go live, I will be dropping the link in the description. So if you wanted to come into the Google Hangout, just click on the link in the description, and you can join in and chat Doctor Who, because I'm having a good time having a chat. It's nice to do it on the chat, but it's great having a bit of a hangout so we can actually chat in person to person, as it were. Yeah, I mean, those sorts of stories, I've said before, all the sorts of stories, I don't know why they don't reshoot the missing episodes. They've got the sets, they've got the costumes, they've got the actors. What the hell's the hang-up? I mean, like, you know, David Bradley's the first Doctor. They could have done all Marco Polo. Look, it's highly doubtful that we're ever going to get those episodes back, right? Why not shoot it? Why not just they've still, like, you can hire a small unit. You don't need to reshoot these shows. Like a group of kids in a university have reshot. What's the episode called? It's the half-hour episode that they reshot. Oh god, it's the William Hartnell one as well.
Inside the spaceship or something, was it?
Mission to the Unknown. Yeah, that's it. Mission to the Unknown. Yeah, I mean, like, if they can do it, the kids in a university can put together. You know, I mean, they even had Nicholas Briggs, you know, and Peter Purvis was there as well on set. I mean, like, these kids in this university can do something like that. Then what the hell is that hang up? I'm guessing that they don't want Marco Polo or something like that to be made and to look crap. I get that. But let's be honest, you've got the TARDIS set, right? You've got it. All you have to do is put the walls up, put the thing, plug it in, and knock the lights on. You've got David Bradley, so, you know, slap him in the face a few times just to start him a little bit. Stick him in makeup, stick him in a hat, stick him in the costume, shove him onto the set, and tell him what to say. I mean, you don't have to. When they made the original episodes of Doctor Who, most, not all, but most were shot over the course of a weekend, right? Now you're telling me these days these actors can't do the same thing? What's the problem? What is the problem? Rehearsal.
As you said before, they only need 2 cameras. If they recreate it shot for shot,
they don't even have to do that. They can you shoot single shot. I mean, single. Which episode? So yeah, I got a feeling the Matt Smith episodes were single camera. Up until at least, oh god, no, it's just tasking the memory. Right. The Beast Below wasn't. The one with the spoon heads, they weren't. God. But yeah, there are a couple of Matt Smith episodes shot that were single camera. But you only need 2. You don't need many cameras. I mean, and you haven't got to shoot 4K. You haven't. It'd be nice, but you haven't. As long as you're shooting 1920 by 1080, you're good. I mean, you can always upscale. But then again, it's not going to cost that much. I mean, Christ. All right. Here's the thing, right? I mean, I know you know this anyway, Chris. I make my own film anyway, and I've spent a lot of money, so I know what the cost is of doing it from a financial perspective, from an independent kind of perspective. It's not that much in terms of budget. In terms of if you were to do a Kickstarter, I'll guarantee you the most expensive thing would be paying for David Bradley. That would be the most expensive thing. The crew would have to be paid for, but you don't need a big crew because you're not going to need. You're going to need a grip, a gaffer. You're going to need your cameraman. You're going to need sound, makeup, costume. You keep it a bit, and people interchange jobs anyway. So you got people. Your set decorators are going to be your prop builders. They're going to be your. Everybody's interchangeable. So on a small production, that's how you work. You don't need a big studio because you only need literally a studio big enough to sort of house the TARDIS. You can shoot a lot on location. Nothing wrong with that. That's a given. So why the hell they don't just reshoot it? And here's the galling part about that. We got no Doctor Who this year at all. So why not put it on Netflix? Why not give the... Why don't you prime your audience ready for the next season? I mean, and then put it on DVD. Oh, the missing episodes recreated on DVD. There we go. That'll make the money back. International release. Put them in the first one you do. Put it into the cinema, like they did with the 50th. I mean, it's the money's there. I don't get it. I can't understand. I genuinely can't understand it. It's the same way whereby, like with the Eighth Doctor, I make an Eighth Doctor story. Why not? McGann loves it. He's always willing to do it. He was recently at a con talking about it. I mean, he's always there. The guy's working all the time, and he still makes time to go to the conventions because he loves it. He genuinely, for a guy who was given the shit end of the stick, you've never seen a guy more enthusiastic about a project in all your life.
And they've already got a ton of scripts from the Big Finish.
Absolutely, but I mean, even so, like if you were gonna, I mean, there's a point whereby when it comes to the Big Finish stuff, whereby you're gonna have to rewrite it anyway, just so it fits canon a little better. I mean, I don't know that much about. I know the Big Finish stuff is high quality, and since the show's revival, it's all been changed up. I've really got to get into doing some Big Finish stuff, really, because when I'm doing model building and stuff like that, normally I've got YouTube on or something that's just running in the background. So I think it'd be good to have, like, you know, a Doctor Who Big Finish on instead. That'd be quite good. But yeah, why the hell they don't do that with all the missing episodes? I genuinely don't know. It boggles my mind. I can't figure it out. I mean, Troughton's got the most missing, right? I think that's correct. Troughton's episodes are the most that are missing. And take focus away from Jodie. But it wouldn't, though, would it, really? Because it's just Doctor... Like, people think that, but they're wrong. Because Tyler Hoechlin is a great Superman, right? It doesn't take focus away from the Justice League movie. The Justice League movie might take focus away from Tyler Hoechlin the Superman, but not the other way around, because he does such a great job as it. And if you've got somebody who's doing a great job, it just spurs you on to watch the movie, to watch the big one. It's not going to take focus away from Jodie at all, I don't think.
Well, it's the same character.
Well, exactly, it's the same person. It's not a different person, and again, it would keep people... They're like appetizers, because if you do it like the old format whereby you're doing 22-minute episodes as opposed to 45s, I think that would work tremendously, because it teases people. These shorter episodes just tease people into, because they've still got all the scripts. All the scripts are still in the filing cabinets. They didn't chuck those out when they got rid of the tapes. Everything to do with those episodes, the blueprints, the sets, they're all still there. If you go to the BBC archive, you'll get thrown out because you're not allowed in there. But if you were allowed in there, you'd actually go in, and they've actually got all the blueprints for episodes. And a friend of mine who worked at Television Centre actually took a photograph of some of this sets from some of the older shows. And then he lost his job because he weren't allowed to do it, but he did it. He was like, well, okay. Caught me red-handed, rifling through stuff. But yeah, I don't think it would take focus away from Jodie. If anything, it would put the spotlight on her. And you know, if you do it right, it's just an ad. You can't take away from a show by adding to it. It's not possible. And again, when we're talking about Doctor Who, we are talking about a show that has never lost money, not ever. People can say what they like about it, about how it is now with modern Who. Like, just remember this, right? People are talking about the viewing figures and things like that, right? They haven't got a bloody clue, right? These are people that have never worked in TV. They don't know what they're talking about. The viewing figures, the lowest viewing figures that there's ever been for Doctor Who was Sylvester McCoy. Sylvester McCoy dropped to 3.4. Right? That's the lowest it's ever gone. It's never gone lower anywhere along the line. At 3.4 million, it still didn't lose money. Now, what are people talking about that? Because Joey dropped as low as 5 million, I think. Well, hell, that was average viewing figures for the last half of Matt Smith's run, I think. I'm going to Peter Capaldi, and I don't care what anybody says. It's better than the first season of Peter Capaldi. I don't give a shit what anybody says. When I watched bloody Kill the Moon, I was gonna just go outside and just punch somebody. That was just a shower of shit. I mean, it was. Well, do you know what was worse about Kill the Moon? Honestly, was the concept of the show whereby they go to the moon and it's infected with these giant bacteria. Fantastic idea, absolutely fantastic idea. And then it turns out it's a pissing egg. And I'm like, well, now you've just screwed all of Doctor Who, because the moon is now an egg as far back as William Hartnell. Further, go back to the dawn of time. That moon in the sky is a bloody egg. And no matter what, and it screwed the future of Doctor Who as well, because no matter how far in the future you go, when they land on the moon now, it's an egg. I mean, I can't. How can you ball something? If it had been an alien planet, it might have worked. The idea might have worked. But the notion that the moon was infected with a bacteria was fan-bloody-tastic. And then it hatches. And I'm like...
And then another one appears.
Oh yeah, no, it gives birth to another egg immediately. And it looks identical to the one it hatched, even got the same blotches and markings on it. What really annoys me about that is that Doctor Who's always been fast and loose with pseudoscience. But we've been to the moon. We know what it's made of. I mean, you can't. I don't know what to say. I was watching the episode of this. What are we looking at? I thought Robot of Sherwood was bad enough. God, I mean, look, Robot of Sherwood. I will say this as long as anytime it's brought up, right? Robot of Sherwood is a really bad episode of Doctor Who. The only redeeming feature is Jenna Louise Coleman. She in that episode is absolutely on fire. And as bad as that episode is, she it's the only redeeming thing about it. Her acting in that is unbelievable. Her scene with, what's his name? Ben... Oh, God, what's the guy's name? Plays the sheriff from Nottingham. Boff. God, her scene with him, it's just amazing. Her acting is just like, she is on fire in that. I wasn't keen on Caretaker of Force of the Night. Oh, God. Ben Miller, right, Force of the Night. Terrible episode. Terrible episode. Nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. Skip the episode completely because the Doctor does nothing at all. The Doctor literally does nothing. The Doctor influences that episode in no way whatsoever. The kids go to a museum. They get stuck in the forest because the forest appears from nowhere, and they come out the next day and the forest is gone. And the Doctor does dick. Rubbish story. Rubbish.
Ben Miller, by the way.
Yeah, Ben Miller. Yeah. Ian just put it in the chat now. Caretaker. I'll tell you what I thought was interesting with Caretaker wasn't actually the story, but you remember the girl, the gobby mouthy girl. I thought she would have made a brilliant companion. I genuinely thought she would have made a brilliant companion. The fact that she was this dismissive, snarky, just back-chatting, annoying character. But when she talked to the doctor was like on her level, and it was good back and forth. It was really like it was like, oh, he gets her, he understands her, and it was a great. And it was like she should be the next companion, and of course it didn't pan out. It just didn't work. I don't know why, but that she should have been the next companion, and that's as far as I'm concerned. She was sort of like the precursor to Billy. Not Billy. What am I on about? What the hell's her name? Oh God, Bill. Nah, it is Bill, isn't it? I'm not getting on.
Bill Potts.
Yeah. I can. Well, you got Bill, Billy. There's lots of Bills in Doctor Who. One played one. You got Bill that played a doctor. You got Bill that played a companion. You got Bill that was a companion. Yes. But yeah, she would have been a brilliant companion. That kid. It would have been. But again, look. As far as I'm concerned, it was Capaldi's doctor that killed bloody Class in the first episode. Because the first episode of Class, if you haven't seen Class, I don't know if you've seen it, Chris.
I haven't seen it, no.
So Class was their other go at like sort of doing another Torchwood. But they decided what they were going to do was they were going to set it around some teenagers and set it in a school. And they actually set it in, I think it was Coal Hill College, or something like that it was called. So it was supposed to be the same, so it was supposed to be like Coal Hill School, Coal Hill Elementary or something something like that. But they had this entire episode whereby there was this thing going around killing kids in the school, and they had to work out what it was and how to beat them. It was this alien on the loose inside this school. And literally, they get to the school dance hall, and they're not sure whether or not they're going about the right way to defeat this alien. And literally, the TARDIS lands, the doctor gets out and goes, like that, and that's the end of it. And she's like, well, now you've just cut their nuts off, because what's the point if you're just going to show up and save the day at the last minute? And that really cut that just cut the legs off the show. That was just like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that at all. It was kind of like like I said, it was like kind of like them having another crack at sort of Torch. It was sort of in between. They instead of doing Torchwood or Sarah Jane Adventures, they decided to go with the kids from Sarah Jane, but the attitude of Torchwood. So it was a very sort of in between show. They did some nice stuff. You know there. But they did some weird stuff as well. Like this kid had a bionic leg that he had got given by the doctor because his leg had been bitten off. But the leg had like a compass on it and stuff. It was just, what? Yeah, it was a weird. I think if you're gonna do a Doctor Who spin-off again, I would do Clive. I would have done Clive as a Doctor Who spin-off. It's nice to have. I don't like stories in the Doctor Who universe whereby it's the big stories. I don't like the organizations that have all the money that can afford to pay for this, that have in unlimited funds that can afford the best technology. I much prefer this guy had to piece this together himself in his shed. It shows cleverness, innovation, and the guy's always the underdog. Then the guy's always coming at it from the underside. Those are much more interesting stories, I think, because when you've got like James Bond works for MI6, right? And it's difficult to pin James Bond down as the underdog because he's always got the gadgets, he's always got the cars, he's always got he's got an unlimited amount of credit. He can walk into any casino, hotel. He's got a 5-star hotel. He drives an Aston Martin Vanquish these days. It's very difficult to pin him as the underdog. So you've got to sort of upscale the stakes. Then haven't got to be about this guy. It's got to be about something else. Otherwise, the story doesn't work. Whereas if you do it from the perspective of this person is caught up in this and is way out of their league, way out of their comfort zone, it makes for a much more interesting story. But again, we're talking about these sorts of things with what they've done with Doctor Who now. I always preferred it when Doctor Who was an unknown. I don't like it these days, whereby the Doctor has become this intergalactic hero. Because that's never who I ever thought the Doctor was. It kind of escalated, I think, probably in the Matt Smith run with building up to A Good Man Goes to War and heading into the 50th anniversary. But to me, the Doctor's always been the stranger. That's the way I've always looked at him. He's in westerns, you get the sort of the stranger who comes through town, and nobody ever knows who it is. Like who was that masked man? And it's not a big issue. You just walk up, sort of save the day, and just drift off. And that's all the Doctor was. I've never looked at the Doctor as being this, the hero. Being the hero, yes, but not being the guy in the cape, as it were. Not the show off. He's just sort of. That's how he's always been. I think that's the whole point of the TARDIS being able to blend in. I thought was that he wanted to remain inconspicuous. I don't know. What do you? How do you think of Doctor Who, Chris? What do you think about how they've changed it now from what it used to be?
Well, to start with, he was like the eternal scientist, weren't he? Really, going in, solving problems.
Yeah. And
it's come so far now that we've got Jodie with her Superman pose, with her screwdriver, and all she's missing is the cape. And
she got the cord.
Everyone knows who it is. Even going back to the Clive stuff with the websites, who is the man in the blue box? There was none of that. All right, we didn't have the internet in the 70s and what have you, but
yeah.
You're right. It's become too in-your-face heroic rather than a quiet hero.
Yeah, well, I've always looked at that's the way I've always looked at the Doctor. The Doctor never used to be able to control the TARDIS. So I would have always had the Doctor. It's nice when you're fast and loose with whether or not he can or can't control the TARDIS, which is what I liked with the 9th Doctor. With Christopher Eccleston, because there were times whereby the TARDIS would just land somewhere, and he didn't quite know. He'd aim for something but miss it. Like in Unquiet Dead, he's not actually aiming to land in Cardiff in the 1890s, in 1886. He's looking to land in Paris, but he just gets it wrong. But at the same time, in Partner of the Ways, he precision lands the TARDIS around Rose. So I like the fact that there is this fast and loose. It's kind of like when him and the TARDIS are working together, When they're not, the TARDIS will just go do whatever it like. But when they're aligned for a goal, it's like it's not so much that he's controlling the TARDIS; it's that him and the TARDIS are working together. But I like it when the TARDIS lands somewhere, and it's like, well, where are we now? Well, let's take a look. Let's open up the scanner and take a look, see where we are. And it was always the Doctor would stumble across an adventure. It wouldn't be that the Doctor was purposely, I'm here to investigate. I'm here to look at this. I'm here to, which is what kind of happened later on with Matt Smith and Clara, because he was purposely in the episode like Hyde, I think it was. He purposely went to seek a psychic. She landed on the planet. He went in A Good Man Goes to War. He picks up all the people that he needs to pick up. He picks up, Dorian, picks up Strax. He just picks up all his entire army, the Jadoon. So he's literally sort of going around collecting, as I say, collecting on his debts. The
last Peter Capaldi series, they had a bit more of random landings, like the one with the emoji robots and the one I can't remember the names of them now. The ones where he was underwater with the big spooky ghosty eyes and whatever. They were kind of random landings. So
Sort of, but he did still actually in the one right. So in the episode before the flood, he actually did manage to control the box. So he just sort of went back to it. Now that was kind of an interesting episode because he did a bootstrap paradox whereby all the stuff that happened in the previous episode was stuff that was going to happen in the second episode, but from a different point of view. So that was kind of. But it's he's too much of a look. When I saw the episode Flatline, that was the episode that made me just like I mean I was never fond of. I think Peter Capaldi was promised something, but I want to say it was the fault of the guys in the shirt and ties because I can't believe. All the stuff that Stephen Moffat was saying when he went to the conventions and then what we ended up getting were nothing alike. Just nothing alike. The closest I think we ever got to that was probably the episode Listen, which is probably the only good episode really of season 8. And then you get right the way through to Heaven Sent before you really start getting what I consider to be a fantastic episode of Doctor Who. But I think it was just a massive missed opportunity with Peter Capaldi. Totally massive opportunity. But yeah, I mean, I don't like the fact that this guy can step out of the TARDIS and just deal with a situation. I've never been. The Doctor's powerful. Don't get me wrong, but when the Doctor starts showing off the power, that's not who the Doctor is. Really, the Doctor's not. I mean, like maybe it's because at the time I grew up with Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy. I mean, Sylvester McCoy is probably from my childhood memory, probably the most prominent because I was older when I saw his run. But I really liked the stuff that he did when he done like Ghostlight or Curse of Fenric or Remembrance of the Daleks, where he's this mysterious figure that is, I've always liked the fact that they've always said, Doctor Who can tell a story as big as the universe and as small as a garden shed. That's always been the claim, and I just feel like that these days they can't really do that because the Doctor's the Doctor's ego's a bit too big now. Yeah, I just wish that they'd scaled it out a bit. I did like the fact that when Jodie, in again one of my favorite ones is the Witch Hunters. Her performance in that against Alan Cummins was brilliant. The bit where she's tied to the tree. The camera work in that was fantastic, and the dialogue was good. And the fact that you had Alan Cummins chewing the scenery like a son of a bitch, and she was just playing off it. And what was really good was the fact that he was chewing the scenery and she was playing it straight. And that's the last time double acts do that. Morecambe and Wise did that. You had Alan come in who was doing his Eric Morecambe and she was doing his Ernie Wise. And it worked brilliantly.
That was easily the best episode of that series for me was the Witch Hunters. Yeah,
I loved it. Absolutely. Again, it was the closest one I likened to classic Who because it was I mean the ending was a little bit it was a little bit of a quick fix ending with the we burn the tree and the smoke and stuff like that. But I mean those witches looked amazing, and the story was good. It was dealing with you're dealing with ghost stories, zombies, witches. I would like them to bring back the Carrier Knights. I think we could do with them. I'm surprised that they don't utilize more one hit monsters because you know, obviously, like there are ones that work really, really well, like the Weeping Angels. But there are also ones that deserve another crack of the whip. And Carrionites for me would be a good one to bring back, I think. Particularly with what happened with the Witch Hunters as well. It's if you can make them that creepy, it would work. And yeah, and there are other characters then that I don't think should come back for a long time. I like the Weeping Angels, because I think they kind of they've done the Weeping Angels now, and they've kind of made a mess of it.
They did them to death.
Well, I mean, I mean, if I was going to do a Weeping Angel story, I would do a one Weeping Angel, like kind of like what they did with Dalek. Just have one, just so you could show how dangerous. Because you can't. It's great when you have, you know, when they done the episode with the Void. What was it called? Army of Ghosts, was it? That was one where they brought in all the Cybermen, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, Army of Ghosts. Where they kept having Ghost Watch, right? And they had the bloody. I don't know if you remember, they had a cameo by EastEnders, where they had one of the ghosts in the Queen Vic. Yeah, get out of my pub. So yeah, when they had those sort of when they done those sort of stories, and you had this army of people, it was great. But it was only great because you'd been primed by previous stories to know how dangerous one or two of them were. Do you know what I mean? When you saw like Dalek, and you saw Dalek wipe out all those soldiers in Dalek in that episode, where you had all in Henry Van Statten's base, when you saw what one Dalek could do, what was your reaction when you saw a lot of Daleks? When you realise, like, if one of them can do all that, what can all those do? You know, you get primed for it. So I think if I was gonna do a Weeping Angel story, I'd trim it right the way back to one Weeping Angel. I probably wouldn't set it on Earth. It would probably, because I hate Doctor Who being so earthbound. Right. Okay. Let me tell you how I would do the next season of Doctor Who. I'd probably get rid of Ryan and what's her face? I can't even remember. Yasmin Khan. I'd probably get rid of those two because they're not needed. Ryan is a little bit better than Yaz, but she's a waste of a character. But I'd probably put Ryan back on Earth just to, you know, give his character, because I think Graham's character had closure. I would have killed Graham, as it was, you know, but he survived. So, you know, but he's probably I think because he's survived now, he's too popular of a companion to kill now. I think if you do kill him, you're gonna have to make it a shocker. You're gonna have to prime people up for it, and then do it in a way that it's like didn't see it coming. So I'd probably do that. I'd probably take the Doctor and Graham off Earth completely, pick up a new companion that wasn't human, just have them, you know, have something completely different, you know. I wouldn't mind one of the, just to tie in continuity, I wouldn't mind one of those blue aliens from End of the World. You know, one of the engineers, what do they call them? Those, oh, God. And you could bring back. There's lots of stuff you could do. Oh God, there's so much you could do. You could go to the planet of the Moxel Balloon. You could visit the lost moon of Poosh. There's so much stuff they could do. But it's right there. It's sitting right there. I don't understand how somebody like Chris Chibnall, and maybe it's from a BBC standpoint, whereby they're saying don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. But there's so much stuff that is just sitting there, just a little thread that they can pull, and it'll open up a whole new avenue of stories. I mean, what was good with Stephen Moffat's writing was that Stephen Moffat would every now and again just close an open thread. Like, I mentioned Hyde. In the episode Hyde, he pulls out the blue crystal from Metabilis 3, which was an open thread since bloody 1974. Well, from the episode Spiders. Planet of the Spiders, where he obtains the and he puts it in his pocket and he says that'll come in handy at a later date. He doesn't use it until he's Matt Smith. He gets hold of pulls out the seal of Rassilon. And he guessed that he nicks that seal of Rassilon off the Master in the Five Doctors. Like, oh my god, I love that shit. So the fact that
I'll tell you what I'd like to see is have a word with Mark Strickson, bring Turlough back for a couple of stories.
Yeah,
because we've never had the return of the Black Guardian yet, and the White Guardian did say he'd return. I know we can't have the original actor because he's brown bread, but
oh my word! Do you know I would bring Enlightenment is such an underrated episode of Doctor Who, and that episode whereby at the end he's on about they're sitting down together on the table, right? And the Black Guardian is talking to the White Guardian, and they're talking to the Doctor, and it's just like, yeah, you can't kill the White One because you can't have the light without the dark. If you get rid of the dark, you get rid of the light. So they're always going to be there. They can't be. They return now. And it's like, right. So so what you're saying is that these guys can never be stopped. They can be delayed, but they are unstoppable. And it's like, yeah, kind of, yeah, they are that powerful. It's like, and you're gonna go up against them? And it's like, yeah, kind of. Like, holy shit. Like, it's literally, I mean, the Doctor's gone up against some real tough components, but it's great when you've got the big guys. But again, look, I would bring back Sutek the Destroyer in a heartbeat. No, not even, I wouldn't even think about it. First story I do, Sutek the Destroyer. Bang, wallop, have that one. Because I'd love to see Sutek. Just have planet, literally. The Sutek is lost in the corridor of time at the end of Pyramids of Mars. So he's trapped, he's going to the ends of time, right? Who else has been going around the ends of time? Well, you've got me, who's going around the ends of time. You've got me and Clara traveling in that diner. You've had the Master, who went to the end, and maybe he did something wrong because he didn't have a TARDIS during Utopia. He didn't have a TARDIS at all. He lost his TARDIS. Maybe Sutek got hold of a TARDIS and was able to stop himself from tumbling through time. I mean, and then he's free. Because in Pyramids of Mars, he was imprisoned. Now he's not imprisoned anymore. And you just have stars just going out. Just boom, boom, boom. Like, what's going on there? And Doctor just investigates and it's Sutek. Like, that's what you want. You need and all you need is some big, tall, 7-foot tall guy. I wouldn't change the helmet. I don't think. I'd just be a big black cloak, same helmet, green glowing eyes, just leaving death wherever he goes. Because that's what Doctor Who's lacking right now is death. There's no consequence in Doctor Who now. Very few people die. The most amount of people I think died was in Resolution. But again, that was just because they were ramping up a Dalek story and wanted to just kick some ass. But yeah, there's so many. Those are the sorts of things I would do with Doctor Who. Definitely bring back some stuff. What would you bring back? If you could bring back anybody as a Doctor Who villain, who would you want to bring back?
Well, definitely the Black Guardian, as I said.
Yeah.
A decent macro story, not just a view of them down at the bottom of a bit of a traffic jam.
Why not?
God, there's so many.
But that's what I mean. I can't understand why they've got to keep going out of their way, because they did a great Ice Warrior story in Cold War, and then they did what was the one where they had the Victorian soldiers on Mars? Was that the Ice Queen or something like that? Oh, good grief! But I mean, there's like I've always said, like, you know, it's great to bring back the popular ones, but it's great to bring back the not so popular ones and do them really well. I'm trying to think. Empress of Mars. Thank you very much, Ian. Oh, good grief! I mean, look, I'd love to bring back. I remember when they were talking about bringing back the Celestial Toymaker up until the point where Michael Gough actually was diagnosed with cancer, and then it was like, oh damn. Because a couple of years earlier, Russell T Davies was taking the idea of bringing back the Celestial Toymaker for an episode, and when he actually was like, you know, oh, maybe this could work, you know. Maybe, and then Michael Gough just came out and said, "Look, he's ill. He can't do it," which is a great shame. But I would like to bring back the Celestial Toymaker. Why not? You can. Oh, good grief! There's so many good aliens out there that they can bring back. I don't think the Vervoids.
Maybe another look at the people of the Kinder.
Oh God. I mean, do you know? I remember watching Kinder and then Snake Dance and those sorts of episodes all in like one run, and at the end of it, it was just like, oh, this. I don't know if I can cope. Keep watching. I guess I'll watch something else. So yeah. The Celestial Toymaker back in '86 season. Rick Mayall as the Celestial Toymaker. Oh. Oh, that's hard. See, Rick Mayall passed away as well, didn't he? Damn. Sorry, you knock me sideways there. Yeah. There's so many people that they could bring back. There's so many characters and aliens, but really good ones as well. You know, there's again, like I said, bring back Sutek, bring back Omega. What the hell's stopping them from bringing back Omega? You know, people. Oh, he's dead. Well, people die in Doctor Who all the time. They're still around. Oh, who would be a good one? A real cracker. Valiard. I mean, yeah, easy. Bring back the Valiard. That'd be a good one. Apparently, they just done a Big Finish story with the Valiard, whereby the Sixth Doctor is forced to defend him. Toymaker in Blackpool. This is of trial season Warlords. That was the plan. Yeah, but I mean, like, if you're gonna cast who, do you know what? Cast Benedict Cumberbatch. Go on, cast Benedict Cumberbatch as the Celestial Toymaker. He'd do it. He'd be good. He's even got that sort of stone face to him as well.
Benadryl Cucumber Patch.
That's the one, yeah. I think he would work well. Well, I mean, again, I would bring back the Rani because the Rani is a good story.
What about if the Doctor and Leela didn't manage to put the Fendal skull in a supernova and it managed to get away?
Look, you can always you can always do these stories because there's nothing stopping. There's always a right around. There's always a right around for anything that's ever been. You know, they always make these stories whereby they accidentally kill off a villain and then they have to do a right round to bring them back because they're such a good villain and everybody loved them. You know, Arthur Conan Doyle had to do it with Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty. He accidentally killed him off and then thought, oh, bloody hell. The Great Vampire. Do you know they have? I don't think they've done a really good vampire story in Doctor Who, have they? They do have vampires of Venice, but they weren't really vampires. They were fish. Can you think of a good vampire story? I can't think of one.
Wasn't the Seventh Doctor story a vampire one? Was that Fenric or something?
Steve's again. It wasn't a direct vampire story. They've always skipped around. It's like zombies, and there's always, you know. The Seventh Doctor did do a black magic story with, oh god, what was that? Oh crap, that was Silver Nemesis. I just had a horror flashback then. That's horrific for all the wrong reasons. They chromed the Cybermen. Imagine that. They chromed the Cybermen. They showed up looking like a 70s disco.
Yeah, talking of the Cybermen, you're saying about listening to some Big Finish. One of the most highly regarded ones is Spare Parts, a Fifth Doctor story set on Mondus when they're first making the Cybermen. If you haven't heard it, that is a great story.
Yeah, I'll have to again, I've got to get more into Big Finish anyway. Yeah, with cricket gloves. Yeah. Oh man, there is a fan film out there, right, of the Cybermen. I'm trying to think what it's called. I think it's like called Assimilation or something like that, right? And basically, there's no dialogue throughout the film, right? It's 25 minutes long. It's shot in black and white, and it's the Cybermen from Tomb of the Cybermen. And it was shot. We're talking about 15 years ago now, at least. But it's shot in black and white, and it's set on a mining asteroid. And the Doctor doesn't show up. The Doctor's not even in the story. And it's about what happens to this colony of people when the Cybermen decide, screw it, we can assimilate them. And it's fantastic. It is absolutely bloody fantastic. It was well worth a watch. So look, let's see if I can find. Let me just have a quick look here, because I do like watching, you know, fan films and that when I can. Oh. Let me see if I can. No. Oh, there's quite a few. Discarded by the Riverside. Okay. Looks like it's a story about the Cybermen from. Yeah, it's definitely the Cybermen from World and Enough in Time. Just like the ones that didn't quite become assimilated and just chucked out. Only 4 minutes. Where's it to? Please still be on here because it was wonderful. Trying to find it. There's Deconstruction. Is that it? Yeah. Released in 2005. 22 minutes long. Let me just have a quick look. Yes, that's the one. Yeah, I'll put a link for that in the description. Copy. Let's check it in chat. Paste. There we go. Yeah, it's 22 minutes long. It's no dialogue in it whatsoever. It's just about the Cybermen decide that they're going to take over this colony. This mining asteroid. It's just a small. They just need to bulk up their numbers, so they just start killing everyone and start converting them into Cybermen. It's bloody brilliant. So yeah, where we at? Then do you see the Dalek movie? I think it was The Last Dalek. I haven't yet. Again, there's so much out there to cram through. There's so much. Recently, what did I mean, I watched a lot of Colin Baker stuff. I watched the Five-ish Doctors reboot recently as well again, because I love it. It just makes me laugh. Some of the jokes in that go by so fast. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen the video that Peter Davison made? He makes them all the time. He's underrated as a writer director. But he made this video where he went to the California convention. Did you see that?
I've seen the one where him and a couple of the others end up running around television studio. Was that the Five-ish Doctors?
Yeah, well, that was the Five-ish Doctors, yeah. John Barron being straight gag. Oh, yeah, that was the Five-ish Doctors all over. No, there's right. So what Peter Davison does is that when he goes to conventions, now and again, if he's got time, he'll write the script and he'll film something. And he done this video whereby he's supposed to be going to this convention in California. And he's doing the video. He's like, I'm looking forward to seeing you and all this stuff. And the guy there's a knock at the door. And the guy's like, Peter, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'm just doing a video to let people know in California that I'm going to be there. It's like, yeah, but Peter, that's this week. And he's like, oh, shit. And he's like, he's trying to make the plane at Heathrow. He gets to Heathrow and the plane's already gone. And he's like, he doesn't know what to do. He's on the way back. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. He's like, what do you think? And he looks up there and his David Tennant sitting there. So, it's like, just want you to get on my cab. When he does get out of his cab, then he's walking over and there's this Doctor Who experience, and he goes inside, and there's the TYJ Mark II, and he gets inside, and he as he walks inside, he's in the console room, and he just starts the TARDIS up, and then the video goes dead. And it cuts to the stage live in California, and they just bring up the lights, and the TARDIS has landed on the stage, and Peter Davison just steps out.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, it's amazing. It genuinely, oh, God, I'll try to find the link for that now as well. Look, yeah. Yeah, it's honestly, he's done a couple like that. He's very good. And it's good for, like when he misses the plane, he's sitting in the taxi. There's like Janet Fielding's head just float in this floating bubble. Yeah. He missed the plane, the plum. He's brilliant, I swear.
I'll send you something on Messenger, by the way.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Peter Davison. What's it called? Now the problem with it is that the video is shot on camps. It's shot on. It's somebody in the arena filming the projection. But you can still see it well. You can still hear it well. You can hear the audience laughing. But yeah, it's well worth watching. Let me just put it in there. Yeah, that's well worth a watch as well. It's 7 minutes and 28 seconds long. But what a way to make an entrance. It's probably one of the best entrances anyone's ever made.
Well, even better than the Queen at the Olympics in 2012.
Oh, it's up there. It is up there.
Excellent.
I would say it's up there because he's got so many, like, there's little things like when because he's doing Legally Blonde in theatre. And when he leaves the theatre and he runs out and he's just like, Peter, I want an autograph. He's like, oh, I haven't got time. He runs and the camera pans on, it's Freeman Agyeman. And it's just brilliant. It's honestly, and he's done a couple like that for the opening of on that one it was opening of Gallifrey 22, but he's done a film and Peter Davison is really good at it because he's good at the inside Doctor Who gags, you know. He's good at the stuff that we aren't really sort of privy to then, because it's sort of when they do all the gags that they do on the convention circuit, you know, when they tell you all the stories about things that happen behind the scenes. It's that sort of thing, but now you're in on the joke now because you've viewed it. You know what sort of, you know what's coming, like, but then you know what's coming, but then there's a twist. Like, you know, with what he done with the Irish Doctors, whereby you know, he was making fun of the fact that his daughter was pregnant with his son-in-law, who happens to be the doctor, and he's the doctor. So, and that sort of nonsense. You know, he's taking advantage of the fact that David Tennant's his son-in-law. So, yeah, I mean, those sort of inside jokes that we are privy to, because, you know, as fans, we know this sort of stuff. He's very, very good at it. And I wish they would do a Five-ish Doctors movie. I think it'd be so good. Because and I think it's quite a simple story that you could do as well. I think I would just do the Five-ish Doctors trying to make it to a Comic-Con, and just make it a road trip movie. Keep it simple, you know. But yeah, that link that I just put down in the chat now is for Peter Davison video opening ceremonies of Gallifrey 22. It's honestly, it's had what, 20,000 views. Deserves more because it's just fantastic. Right, so we've been at this now for, what was it, 2.5 hours? Christ. For not bad for a 45-minute thing, and we still haven't got around to watching the David Tennant minisode. Do you want to watch the minisode?
I'm game for a while longer, mate.
Okay, so let's have a look. What's it called? I need to get my brain rewired because I can never remember the names of stuff that I should remember, and name of stuff that I don't need to remember is at the forefront of my mind. Born Again. Born Again, Doctor. There it is. 7 minutes, 46 seconds. So yeah, let's watch this, and then we can wrap up because 2.5 hours. No, but these chats we get carried away.
It's all good.
Yeah, let's. I'm about to click play. Here we go. Yeah. So you look at. If you hadn't had the episode Dalek, seeing that army of Daleks on screen, I don't think would have had as much impact. TARDIS landing. Good little sort of re-edit of the final sequence. Like it's much more concise. It's less stretched out. Again, it's a big shame as to what could have been with Eccleston. But again, I'm curious as to how McGann would have played it. If McGann had actually gone, you know, I want to be the in the new Doctor Who series, I would just carry on the story with the 8th. I mean, I got a feeling if McGann had done it, he'd still be playing it.
Yeah.
We'd still be on the 8th Doctor. That's what I think. I just think he hasn't got out of his system. Like he just.
Well, he's all geared up for it. One story later, ta-da, wasn't it? Really?
Well, that's right. But even with what he done with Night of the Doctor, I don't think he's out of his system. Like if anything, he's more infected by it. I think he needs to do a season just so he can go, I've done it. And I think he's getting it. What he does with Big Finish is just amping him up. So, David Tennant, yeah, David Tennant, right? he actually said that when he was talking about him doing the Doctor, they asked him to do the Doctor. I don't know if you heard it. You did a podcast the other day we were talking to Olivia Colman, and she was asking him about what about Doctor Who with no, it wasn't. He was talking to Jodie Whittaker, and she said, why did you change your voice for the Doctor? And he said, to be honest with you, I had just done Casanova, and that was the voice, and that was it. That's why the Doctor talks that way. I remember seeing this. This was like Children in Need or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I love David Tennant. I thought he absolutely nailed it. Such a different tone. Like it's hard to put it into terms, but it is. It's such a different tone. He's striking a completely different note.
I did like the sound inside that TARDIS.
Yeah. Oh, look, they hit so many things so well. They did a lot of things. What for me didn't work with that TARDIS was that you couldn't see the door to the back, to the other rooms, the other corridors. I mean, they had a gantry up behind that they hardly ever used. It wasn't a really used set. I mean, it probably wasn't very strong anyway, because I remember seeing the shell of it in the Red Dragon Centre, and it looked like it was barely holding itself up.
Standard Doctor Who then.
Oh, you got the divides going up the back. They were held together with what I can only describe as 2x1. I mean, it's a fiberglass sheet that had been cast, and it's a flimsy, flexible. It was about 2 mil thick fiberglass, maybe a little bit thicker, but it was a really sort of floppy thing. And they just put it with 2x1 batten, and around the edge. There was nothing in the middle. It was just because they were backlighting it to light all those domes. I love the whole hopping. Yeah. I like this bit as well because you're curious as to how this is going to tie into the if you hadn't watched this and you just watched the Christmas Invasion, you're kind of curious as to how this would have tied in. But then when you see it and he actually starts having the meltdown, it makes sense then with the start of the episode. I like him in the leather jacket. Yeah, but I think I think he works best in his own costume. When he changed costume, I preferred him in the blue. I've got to be honest, I did prefer him in the blue suit as opposed to the brown with the pinstripe. But the brown with the pinstripe is kind of his classic look, isn't it?
Is that a dodgy vape? What's happening there?
Yeah. I didn't like that line because there's no way they could have known he was alive. There we go. Now his brain's having a bit of a meltdown. Yes. Goes from playing it so small to just straight over the top. I love it. That's something that Joey doesn't have. And it's due to the writing. It's not due to the actor. It's due to the writing. She doesn't have the script to take it over the top, to go over the edge, and she can do it. She's had a couple of weird sort of moments. Yeah, that Born Again. Yeah, I mean, I got no bad things to say about David Tennant as the Doctor. Other than I remember what it was like when he said he was leaving, and I was like, I'm going to kick a dog now, and I don't own a dog, so I'm going to have to find somebody else's.
I don't know, his last couple of episodes, I don't know, like the last one where he had time before he regenerated to go and visit everybody. I thought that was a bit schmaltzy. That was a bit, it's a bit of a come down. But other than that, yeah, he was.
I mean, right. So I get why. I get why some people are like that about that episode. But I think that you have to remember that when they made that episode, it was made for the one-time viewing. Like, they hadn't really thought of repeat viewing or thinking about it being on DVD. They were just saying goodbye to everybody because everybody was leaving. David was going, Russell was going, Julie was going, Edna on catering was leaving. So yeah, wasn't that the end of the whole Russell T. Davies? It was, yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody's up sticks and moving, and I don't think they were really concerned with. Again, I don't think they were concerned with repeat viewing. I think they were just wanted to give the audience say a big thank you to the fans for being with them, and that's why you had the reunion with Mickey, with Sarah Jane, with going through all the companions, and I think that the first time you watched it, I think most people the first time they watched it was probably like, this is really goodbye. That's the way it hit me anyway, because I remember it was just like, and the bit that absolutely hurt was the bit where he said, "I don't want to go." That absolutely cut me. And I think that's why I had such a problem with Matt Smith taking over. Not because he wasn't good, but because I had been wounded. It was, I mean, oh God. Like all the great episodes, like we talk about the golden age of Doctor Who. People can say that the golden age of Doctor Who was in the 70s. Nah, balls. When David Tennant took over his second season, because his first season was still him sort of, I mean, he knew the character, being a fan, but he was still sort of working it out as you got to. The second season that he had, he was flying. It was as high that, and then when he went over to Matt Smith, then, and again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. The more I watch Matt Smith as the Doctor, the more I love him. The more I think he was absolutely the right choice. Matt Smith had some brilliant episodes. Yeah, he had some episodes that I wasn't so keen on, like the one with the Flash, Rebel Flash. I wasn't keen on that story, but I mean, when the whole ramp up to the 50th was just on fire. The Cold War with the Ice Warrior. They had, what was it? Nightmare in Silver was a bit pap. Hyde. What other ones are there? Because Bells of St. John was, but we ramping up. It was building back up to the consciousness, right? That's what Bells of St. John was doing. Because I was building up to Name of the Doctor. Like, crying out loud, Name of the Doctor. I thought I was going to pass out. I was so fanboying out on that episode. Like, just in the opening title sequence, it was like, this William Hartnell. This Colin Baker. Oh my God, there's Tom. I mean, like, and then he's, John Pertwee's driving Bessie, and there's Patrick Troughton. It's like, what is happening? What is happening? I mean, it was just great. And then to top it off, then with not only the 50th, but Night of the Doctor. Because the second I saw Night of the Doctor, I was ready for anything. You had the trailer for the 50th as well. It was straight behind that as well. So it was like, because that was fantastic. You know the big trailer that I'm on about, don't you? The one where it starts off in black and white with a police officer and goes through the IM Foreman Yard door. Like you got William Hartnell there, and it's all you go through all the doctors. Amazing trailer. Amazing. And then you get Matt Smith at the end with the day of the Doctor, and he does the whole thing with the Sonic. I mean, amazing trailer. But again, Night of the Doctor was, I did not see that coming. It's just like, I'm a doctor, but not the one you expected. It's like, no, you're all right, pal.
I didn't see that coming either. Someone sent me a message. Said, "Yeah, Chris, have you seen this?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Oh, such a great. What a great era of Doctor Who. What an absolute great era of Doctor Who. And again, like with Clara didn't turn. The character of Clara Oswald didn't really turn until the Capaldi era. And that was due to the fact that the focus was on the wrong thing. I hate the fact that I like that Doctor so much, and he doesn't really have the stories to support him up until season 10. Season 10 has great stories. Because I like the one with where he's walking out onto the, I can't remember the name of it. He's walking out onto the platform, and everybody thinks that he's going to be executed, and then they bring out Missy, and it's her instead that's going to be executed. Just anytime they have Missy in it as well. I think Missy. I think people need to get over the hump that Missy was, the Master, and they gender swapped, and I mean the Master can steal anybody's body, so why does he have to steal a man's? Could it be a woman's? Could be. I'll
tell you what, in that series, the reveal of Bill being turned into a Cyberman, I didn't see that coming either. Oh,
I tell you what, Series 10, I nearly drove down to Rothlock with a crowbar and just wrecked shit out of the Rothlock studios. Just because of the bloody trailer. The stupid sods put every spoiler in the trailer. I mean, what sort of... Here's the thing, right? They put the trailer out for the series, and at the end of the trailer, the last shot in the bloody trailer for season 10 is John Sim picking his head up and laughing. And you get to the last episode of Doctor Who, still no John Sim. I mean, you've seen him in the trailer. So guess what's going to be happening next? In this episode, at some point, if it had happened midway, if they'd gone sort of, the Master's going to be coming back at some point midway throughout the series, then you've still got all the surprises left. The final shot of the trailer is the Master. John Sim is the Master, and you're watching the final episode, and you finally get the reveal of Mr. Razor. Well, it's not the final episode; it's the two-parter, isn't it? I mean, talk about blowing the surprise. Like if you hadn't watched that trailer, you'd be like, Oh, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't watch the trailer.
Well,
I was fortunate.
go back and watch it. Seriously, go back and watch it and tell me, honestly, what you think of that trailer. Because everything is blown in it. Everything. Like, literally. There's a shot of, you know when they do the hospital scene where Bill is walking around the hospital and you see the people with the bags over their heads? You know, the sacks? The next shot in the trailer is them as the Mondasian Cybermen. Like, I'm sitting back watching the trailer going, well, now I know. Why have I got to watch this show now? I know every surprise. And of course, you get to World Enough in Time, and there's the people in the hospital, and they got their bags on them. Well, I know what's coming. Because I watched the trailer. I mean, it was just... was it deliberate to ramp up viewers? Maybe it was. But it was a horrible mistake. It was a terrible mistake. Like, seriously, if you can, jump on YouTube and watch Series 10 Doctor Who trailer, and they blow every surprise in the show, everything, right the way through it. You know, Missy's back because she's there. You know, the Master's back. You know, the Cybermen are back. I mean, it was great to see. Here's the thing: it was great to see the pick of the Cybermen because you knew it was the Mondasian Cybermen. That was fine. To see Peter Capaldi with the Mondasian Cybermen was a beautiful shot, beautiful picture. But when they showed the hospital and then showed the Mondasian, you didn't take much to put two and two together. And I much prefer those Cybermen to the modern ones. I think the modern ones are just too Iron Man. They're just too Marvel. I think the Cybermen are not the Terminator. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not. It's a bit more of a mess inside. It's a bit more of a. No.
I think they got the heads right, but it's the rest of the body, as you say, looks like something from a Marvel movie.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's too Iron Man. And when they started flying up, oh, I tell you what as well. There is a fantastic. If you want to see how to do the Cybermen right, there's a fantastic short anime out there done by a guy who's just an animator, and he done a Doctor Who anime. It's he used snippets of John Pertwee, and he intercut it, and basically it's just the Cybermen and the Daleks having a fight in Tokyo.
Yeah, I've got that somewhere on a computer. It's brilliant.
That's how you do the Cybermen right. Like, he walks up to a smart car, puts his hand through the door, picks up the car, and throws it. And it's like, Jesus Christ! Like, why can't we have those Cybermen? Like, I want those Cybermen. You know, like in Age of Steel, they come crashing through the windows. Well, those sons of bitches would have come crashing through the walls. Like, they wouldn't have worried about the glass. Yeah, that's how I would do Cybermen. Like, Cybermen work best if you can't get away from them. You know, I said I actually, off the back of that, I wrote my son a bedtime story about the Cyberman. Give him nightmares in it, because off the back of that, it was the fact that this Cyberman was they had to get to the top of this building, and they were being chased by a Cyberman. And they think they got away from him, and the Cyberman, they look over the side of the building, and the Cyberman's doing this into the stone, and he's just climbing up the side of the building, just pushing his fingers in through the wall, and you couldn't get away from it. And the end result of the story was the fact that they managed to topple the tower with the Cyberman on it. They managed to jump off, and they went straight down and crushed the Cyberman. Again, a quick short story, bedtime story for my son, and he kept him up for hours because he was absolutely terrified. Because again, it was one of those things. That's how I like my Cybermen, though. I like the Cybermen that don't have to run. You know, the Cybermen that don't have to be quick, that don't have to. They're unstoppable forces. They're a bit too stoppable these days. You know, like, do you remember what was it Attack of the Cybermen where where the Cybermen crushed the guy's hand? It was Colin Baker. I'm sure it was Attack of the Cybermen. He grabs the guy's fist and just crushes it.
That's proper Cybermen.
Oh, it was because they had massive complaints about it. Yeah, it was Lytton. Yeah, Lytton is he gets him on the floor and he got his hands, and the Cyberman just catches his fist like that and just crushes it, and his blood pumping out of his hands. Brilliant! Like crack, crack, crack. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you talk about scaring kids. The night me and my missus had, the evening after Blink first aired, they used to have bunk beds where we used to live, and they basically made a camp. They'd put duvets up all around it, and they were sat up after night in terror. And I thought, well, Doctor Who's doing it right.
Do you know what? So the night Blink aired, I didn't see it, right? It went out on the Saturday night, and I didn't manage to watch it, right? I missed it, but I recorded it. And what actually happened was that on the Sunday, I was getting home from work. I wasn't working on the Monday, and I got home from work. I had a pretty crap day. So what I thought I'd do was I would watch a couple of. I wanted to watch a couple of movies. So I started watching Day of the Dead and things like that. So I was having a horror night. And of course, it got to 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, "All right, I can still stay up for a little bit, but I'm going to get ready for bed." Oh, wait, I've got Doctor Who here. And I put Blink on. Of course, my brain had been primed. I was already in the sort of horror mood. So all my lights were off. I was sitting here in the pitch dark, sitting there watching Blink. And you know the bit whereby Sally goes, "Don't turn away. I'll be right back. Do whatever you do. Just keep looking. Don't blink." And he's like, "Sally!" And he turns back and it's right there. Christ! I swear I left the sofa. I'm not kidding him. I was on pins watching that for the first time. It was brilliant. I loved it. I wish they could do more of it. Right then. So it's coming up to 11 o'clock. I think if you want to be here next week and join us for Doctor Who and chat more Doctor, next week is going to be the Christmas Invasion, where David Tennant's madness is let loose. I've had a good night. I hope you've had a good night.
Yeah. Cool. Thing, you're talking about your picture quality earlier on.
Yeah.
That DVD box set next to you, I can read all the writing on it on a 5-inch screen, so we're all right. Well, I can really read it now, but I could read it while it was sat next to you, so it's good.
Again, that's how they should do box sets. I don't care what anybody says. That's how it's done. You can give me these razor thin ones that fit on the shelf, so I get a million on the shelf. That's great. But I want something I want to show off. So that's what I like for a DVD box set. Something that takes up way too much space but looks good on your shelf. So yeah. So next week is going to be the Christmas Invasion with the Sycorax. Some good names. Before we go, can we have one little quick? We may as well take another 3-hour mark. The new bad guys for Doctor Who. No, not very good names. You know, Tim Shaw. What was it? What was the name of the species? For his. What were they? Sorry. Good grief. Yeah, not very good name, and the Bating as well. I mean, not the Stenza. Yeah,
you mean Stitch?
Yeah,
that was Stitch.
Not very good names, but then you got like not to put Chibnall down again, because I think the guy deserves a bit of a break. He's trying to write the show and he's trying to show run. So let's not try to keep coming down on him. And it's not the easiest of things to do to make a show. Again, the people that criticise the show have never tried making a show. So let's not put it up. But some of the names he comes up with for the monsters are just not very good. Particularly when you've got something like off the back of, somebody who can create a creature and call it the Mighty Jagrafest of the Holy Hat of Jassie Max of Rodenfo. or Raxacoricofallapatorius, and then you've got the
That's
second.
easy for you, so.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, these are the great sounding names. Whereas then you got Pating. That's not a sound. That's onomatopoeia. That's a sound effect. That's what happens when you a cowboy used to spit in a spit tube. Yeah, Pating. So yeah. So we're at the 3-hour mark. I'm going to call it quits there. Next week it will be Christmas Invasion, and the TARDIS will be crash landing back on the Powell Estate, and David Tennant will be taking over as the Doctor. If you can join us then, that'll be 8 p.m. UK time, and I'll be doing it again through Google Hangout. So we'll be able to do this interaction all over again. Hope you've had a good night, and I shall see you again.
Yes,
Take
mate.
care,
See you
guys.
soon.
And the other thing as well, Chris, is I can stop the broadcast and we can carry on chatting a little bit afterwards as well. See?
Ah.
Technology.